We'll be live.
We'll be live. Oh, Jesus.
Just bring me now.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What have you got for us today?
Oh, we have so many things going on. More protests in Iran, more updates, more political changes. Like there's protests, but there's also a lot of like behind the scenes that are happening that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
There is more footage from the ground that I haven't shown yet on stream. If you guys are interested in that, I could show you that.
Yeah.
There is. Oh, I'm actually looking at what I have. I have so much. Before we start with the, also guys, we have Patreon questions that I want to answer today. So I have 5 Patreon questions that I would like to answer. But I want to start by showing some videos. Is that cool?
Just before you go there, let me ask. Actually, let me tell people. Obviously, we've been keeping an eye on what's been happening in Iran, and I spoke with Nuria, and I spoke with
Mariam.
With Mariam, yeah. So you can. I'm really hating this. I don't know why it doesn't let me show my screen. Like whatever tabs open, that's the one it should show. But I don't know why it doesn't show the one that I want to show. See, is it this one? Oh yeah, hey, yeah. So do check this out. Mariam Namazi explains what's been happening in Iran for the first time. Actually, not for the first time, but it's one of the very rare occurrences that I've got 300 likes or something, and they're all 100% like ratio. Mariam explained it really well. So, but obviously that was 3 days ago, last Sunday. So obviously there've been some more developments since then, and I am dying to see that actually hear from Armin Navabi. Because obviously a lot has changed in the last 3 or 4 days, I believe. Is that right?
Yes. Okay, so which one do you want to know first? The major changes or some new videos? Which one would you rather do first?
Okay, let's just go with major changes. Actually, no, let's just warm it up. Show us some videos. Show us what you've got.
So, have you seen these videos that I'm about to share? Like, no.
I have been following this Twitter trend, Masa Amini, and yes, some I see, some I don't. But this one, I don't think I've seen.
I'm gonna start light. Okay, I just want to show you how badass some of these women are. Right? You can see this girl back there fighting by herself, standing there. Like, look at her. Like, she has the "come at me, bro" arms. Like, in front of all those officers there with like riot gear and everything. She's fighting them. Right?
Yeah, but I get scared though. I get scared though. I get scared for them because some of them have been really brutally beaten up by these guards.
There was one video that another girl that was fighting. I don't know if I have that today. And they beat her, and she falls, and she gets up, and she fights them again after she's beaten. Like, instead of crying and running away, she gets her off, and she goes back at the officers that just beat her. But look at this is beautiful because you see her friend. She's like, I'm not gonna let my friend be alone there. So she's like, look at her. Look at that badass over there. And she goes and she stands with her, right? And she holds her like, I'm here. Who are?
She's not alone. What was that scene in the Avengers where Scarlett Johansson's character, she's about to be beaten up or something, and then this alien woman says, "Oh, you're alone," and then Scarlett Johansson comes and she says, "But she's not alone," and then boom,
Yes. Oh wait, I have so many. I'm not gonna show all of it today, but this one just so you see why that is actually very brave is because this is another woman who's like walking towards the officers, challenging them, and this officer is not having look at this officer, look how aggressive this person is. So it's a girl, it's a woman. Sorry, it's a woman by herself standing in the middle of the street, and this guy with riot gear. And look at his decision-making process. Look what he does. Look at the moral standards that these assholes have. Look at this. So he's going at her.
Yeah, this is the one I saw. Yeah, I saw this one. Look at this. Yeah, I saw that one. Like, what
Look
is
at
this?
this.
Yeah, I know.
It's
Where is that
insane.
rage coming from? Like, I mean, he should be like, yeah, I'm just doing my job, yeah. But just why
No,
are there so many emotions involved in this?
I don't know. I think you have audio when I play this, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I heard it. Yeah, there was this
Okay, so
woman
I
screaming.
think
Yeah.
they are genuinely think like these people are some of them are think that this regime is what is upholding Islam, okay? And this is God's regime on earth preparing the way for the Imam Mahdi to come back, and these are its enemies. I think that's what the mindset that some of these people have, right? And like these are depraved, whorish, liberal, Western-minded, brainwashed, Zionist-influenced women who are corrupting the regime from within, and that's why they have so much anger. I think that if I had to guess, I think that's what they. But look at this picture. Look at this picture.
Oh yeah, that was a badass photo. Yeah.
Oh my God!
This is
so
a badass photo.
Yeah. By
Man,
the way,
so much courage. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one. I mentioned this last time. One thing that is poetic about this revolution is that the Islamic Republic came into power originally because for limiting women's liberation. Okay,
Yeah.
the main reason because throughout the history of Shia Iran, before the Islamic Revolution, the mullahs and the monarchs were with each other. The mullahs saw the monarchs as the people who gave them legitimacy and vice versa, right? Khomeini and some other mullahs' problem, the first thing that divided them was that the Shah was bringing education and the right to vote and liberty and all that stuff to women. That was the first drift between the first cracks between their alliance, right? And eventually that led into more division and eventually the Islamic Revolution, right?
Right.
And now the fact that women, the thing that started all of this, which was women, might be actually what ends all of this is just poetic. It's just poetic, right? Okay, so
just a weird coincidence I just noticed between the Iranian monarchy and their deal with the clergy. And we had the same thing happen in Saudi Arabia, but they got in the bed with the clergy. They said, okay, well, you look after the religious affairs, and we look after the governance, and that's why Saudi Arabia, the monarchy has survived. But here, you're saying they said, no, hang on, okay, this is where we draw the line, and obviously the monarchy fell.
Yes. Historically, even throughout Islamic history, you had the Islamic scholars or the ulama, and you had the Khalif, and they were separated. Like you had the secular version and the religious section, and they backed each other up, right? Even though they didn't completely like each other, they keep backing each other. Okay, and usually when the system cracked, it was because there was a division between these two groups. That's why Saudi Arabia was panicking with Wahhabism. When Wahhabis were rising against the House of Saud, and they were and they started placating them right after because they know how dangerous that is. And that's why Mohammed bin Salman might be actually playing a dangerous game right now, because Mohammed bin Salman is now also pushing aside the Wahhabis, and some people are like, this might.
It is a dangerous game. Yeah. It's definitely a dangerous game.
Look how the woman that they arrest. Look how they take them around. This is like. I don't know, Handmaid's Tale on steroids. Anyways, one thing I want to show is that one sign of the desperation of the regime is that they have. Look at this. Okay, these are children. The regime has children in its ranks trying to control the protests.
Do their dirty work, yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. Are they running out of men? That they are bringing boys?
No, but I think that looks like a girl though. No, she looks like a woman.
There's actually multiple pictures like this of little boys. No, this is not okay. This is, first of all, if she was a girl and on the side of the regime, she would be wearing the chador. This is definitely a boy.
Right. Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is not how pro-regime girls come out, okay? Like a t-shirt.
No, but her head looks covered, so I thought maybe it's just a modern hijab or something.
No, this is not. It's not at all. This is a T-shirt is not at all what a pro-regime. This is actually like even for liberals, this is like too liberal in Iran right now. Okay,
Yeah.
so
So what do you? So what do you think is going on then? Like, are they running out of grown-up men?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just I don't know why they would do that. Because they seem to act like they have enough resources, but that's when you see that, like you start questioning that.
Yeah, because one thing that happens in these situations is always these tyrant regimes fear one thing, that when their soldiers are going to stop taking the orders, or they're going to start defying the orders, they're going to say, no, we're not going to shoot at our own people. Like the previous footage that you showed, where that guy, obviously, he genuinely believed in the Islamic Republic. That's why he came so aggressively at that woman. But it's very likely that a lot of these people would be saying, you know what, I'm not going to beat up my own friends.
There
My own
are
people.
signs of that happening. Okay, we've been
Okay.
hearing whispers of that happening.
Right.
Some people are let go, like some people get arrested, and the other people are letting them go. Some people are like being commanded to do something, and they're acting like they're not getting the command. I don't know how genuine these reports are, but we're hearing them more than before. Like, is it just rumor or is it credible? The fact that you hear more of it might suggest that there's something to it. But one thing that it is credible is the Instagram account, one of the Instagram accounts of the Artesh. Okay, So for people who don't know, in Iran we have two major armed forces. One is the Sepah, or as other people know it as is the IRGC, and the other one is the Artesh. The Artesh predates the Islamic Revolution, so it's something that's continued from the Shah's time, the Pahlavi dynasty time, right? The Sepah or the IRGC is what Khomeini added as an anti-coup measure, right? Which now has become not just a military force, it has become an economic and political force that might even be more powerful than the supreme leader itself. That's how important the IRGC.
What's the morality police? What does morality police fall under?
Okay, morality police, if you are talking about Nuri and Tazami, that falls under the presidency, so it's neither of these two. But if you're talking about the Basij, which is like the people who wear normal clothing, like they don't wear any uniforms or anything, they come out in the street. The Basij is part of the IRGC, right? And sometimes actually they fight each other, like we have history. Anyways, so the people, okay, so the thing is that no matter how many times we see this protest, and if the people don't have any armed forces to back them up, this is not going to go anywhere, right? So people have been historically suggesting 3 ways to eventually end this revolution and make it a successful revolution. Is to the one that is the least popular is to get the US involved, right? The second one, which is the most controversial, is to arm the people, okay? And the third one, which some people suggest that is the most likely, is to eventually get a part of the armed forces to take the side of the people, right?
Right.
And that is the one that people are now talking about the most, hopefully. And the Artesh is what people want, like hoping beyond hope that one day the Artesh joins the people, okay? Because the Artesh has a brand of being pre the Islamic Revolution, right?
Right. So they're more likely to do it, right?
So they're like, it's less ideological, even though the Artesh sometimes comes out and says like, no, they're completely backing up the regime, blah, blah, blah. Some people are suggesting that they are less ideological. They have a longer history of being pro-Iran. The Sepah or the IRGC is not an entity that is supposed to protect Iran. It's an entity that is supposed to protect Islam, okay? The Artesh is the entity that is supposed to protect Iran. So they're like, at some point, the Artesh might like protect Iranians against the Sepah. Well, I don't know. But the thing that has changed is that on the Instagram, one of the Instagram accounts of the Artesh, there has been some activity that actually now their Instagram account is down. I don't know if I went to show screenshots of it. It's Persian, so people don't understand. But I could bring it up. But they use the hashtag Mahsa Amini.
Really?
In its Artesh Instagram, and saying that and the content of the video was we're standing with the people.
No way. So
yeah,
how is it? That's a major development. That's like
a major development. Yes. That is a major development. So I don't know what that means. And the fact, like, people were wondering, what the hell is happening? And the fact that the Instagram account was taken down, again, I'm not trying to be a conspiracy theorist, okay? I'm just telling you what happened.
No, but if they hashtag Masa Amini, then if they hashtag Masa Amini, then you know, then this is it. This is major. This is massive. It's like, so hang on. So between the Revolutionary Guards and Atishi, which one is more powerful?
Okay, so the Artesh has more people. The IRGC has more economic and political power.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, but in these situations, you need muscle. You need who's more organized, who's more like more of an army. You know, army is obviously more powerful.
I think Artesh is okay. So the Artesh is more powerful, but every year, we got a super chat. Every year they have reduced the Artesh's budget and have increased the IRGC's budget every year. So as a way to, apparently they want to shift control from one side to another, right? So you can see. Okay, but let me show you the Instagram. But let's address the super chat first. Hold on, where's the super chat? Did I start it? Yeah.
So hey mate, sorry, been busy lately. Hope you're well. Hey George, thank you very much. Thanks for your support, mate.
Yeah. All right, let me show you. Okay, so this is look at this. This is the Instagram account that was belonged to one of Artesh's Instagram accounts, right? And they look,
that official account. That looks like some ordinary person. Shahid Sattar Air Force.
No, it was officially an Artesh's Instagram account. One of them, okay?
Air Force, does the Air Force fall under them?
Yes.
So this is like a proper military.
Yes.
Artesh is proper military. Okay.
But look at the content of the video. Okay?
انتشار آنها استفاده کرده بود.
So we are of the people, for the people. By the side of the people. And in the service of people. Again, so if this comes out as this was fake, I'm just telling you what people are reporting, okay? So I'm going to be skeptical about all of this. I am not reporting any of this.
But how could it be fake? But how could it be fake? He's saying it.
Yeah, he is saying it.
But you're saying it could be an old video, or he might be speaking in a different context.
Yeah, maybe context. Yeah.
تک تک شما و همه ما موظفیم این فرهنگ و تفکر و منش مردمی بودن را
like it's our responsibility to have a people oriented culture.
دیگری یک ارتشی را نشان میداد که با هیجان و لحنی حمایت
ای کشور سرفراز ایران، ما این فداییان خاکت، ما ارتشیان پاکت دادیم به عشقت سرفراز، بس افسر و درجه دار سرباز، گر دست تدریست و گر پای تجاوز، آن دست کنم کوتاه آن پای کنم لنگ. من زاده ایرانم و آزاد بیگانه پرستیدن.
What is the soldier saying?
He's talking about how he will defend the country against all attacks, and he stands for freedom and liberty. Anyways, look at this. Look at what it says on the screen. Like another, hold on.
رژه ارتش هم توسط
They put like this, and on the screen it says Artesh Fadoy Millet.
Millet means people. The government, the country. The nation. No. Oh, no, people. Nation. Nation. Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't know. So there's some another escalation. Another escalation is rumors of Khamenei's death. Okay.
Yeah, I heard about it.
I don't know if Khamenei is dead or not. Okay, but what we do know for sure is that he usually, when protests like this happen, okay, it takes between 2 to 3 days for him to come out and say something. Okay, and the man hasn't been seen for more than 10 days. Okay, so even if he's alive, this is new.
He's pretty sick.
I don't know if he's sick or not, but why this is why is Khamenei not coming out and like condemning the protests and saying like, this is Zionist, American.
Call for calm.
Yeah. I don't know.
Right.
This is the first time that he's just like completely radio silence. And even if he's alive, the fact that the man is not responding and the fact that rumors of his deaths are spreading is significant.
He needs to come out. Right. What would happen if, let's just say, if he is dead and they're trying to keep it under wraps, so just to calm things down? What would happen, like if he's really, really dead and it's confirmed he's dead? What do you reckon could happen?
So first thing is that the understanding is that Khamenei himself wanted his son Mujtaba Khamenei to become the supreme leader. Okay, but they have done a very, very poor job in preparing for all of this. Like, because the people, like when Khamenei died, at least Khamenei was recognized as the president. People knew him. It was some form of, it took a while to transfer the charisma from the one parent to another, and a whole bunch of it was lost. A lot of loyalty was lost. But right now, there is no candidate right now that you could pick as the supreme leader, and that wouldn't cause division among people that are even loyal to the Islamic Republic of Iran, right? So if you see division between the people that are currently loyal to the Islamic Republic of Iran, that would open the floodgates for the opposition to be able to come in extra hard, right? One reason why, if he's not dead, if he is dead, they might not want to announce it, is because they might be inviting mass protests again, right? If he isn't dead, maybe they're playing games with people to give people's hopes up, and then people say he's dead, and then come out like, haha, he was psych, he's alive. I don't know, to just remove the hopes from people and stuff like that. But
right.
This is bringing practice to people, okay? Because these protests, if they, when they stop, and if the regime doesn't fall, every single time that we have new protests, new red lines are being crossed, and new possibilities are being examined, right? Every protest compared to the last one, more red line, more impossible, seemingly impossible red lines are being crossed. And if the protests keep and distance, this is key, okay? So the difference, the distance between the protests are shortening, okay?
What does that mean?
Like, it used to be a decade between protests.
Then
it was 1 or 2 years. Then it was 1 or 2 months.
Frequencies increasing.
So now we're going to get to are we going to get to a point where we're going to have protests every month? Because the regime, at some point, it will get to a place where the regime cannot stand all of this opposition, even if it survives this one, right? You see, the regime, the people, okay, can lose many times, many protests. They could lose many protests, many battles, okay, and they could keep coming back. But the regime has to lose only once for this to be successful.
And every set of demonstrations actually weakens the government.
Yes. And you need, the major thing you need is division between them. And for you to do that, you have to shame them. You have to shame them for the lack of morality, because it's working. Okay, more and more people are coming, and like I used to be pro-regime, celebrities, religious people, mullahs coming out and calling out the immorality of this regime. And if you could cause division between them, because the people who are anti-regime are already like, they have made their up mind. They don't want any reforms. They want the regime to go. They want to get rid of it. But if you could convince more of the people that are on their side to be on the side of the people, that's when you could see real results. It's just hard it's just hard to imagine how this could continue without something major changing, especially if Khamenei's death happens. By the way, if Khamenei is not dead, this is really good practice. The rumors of his death is good practice for the day
when he actually dies.
Yeah.
Right. This is interesting. So obviously, there's somebody made a point that it looks like the strength of these demonstrations is actually weakening, is waning. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean,
that's worried about that.
First of all, there's two things. Okay. First of all, that's what you would expect. There's going to be initial
and then it will
die down a bit. Okay. And then the question is that would it go back up again, or will it stay there in that level? All right. It's hard to know based on, because the internet is getting more and more like, I can't
Shutting
even
it
talk
down,
to my
yeah.
dad.
You're losing it.
I can't even talk to my dad right now in Iran, right? So sometimes when the videos come out less, it might be more because the internet, because at first they slowed down the internet and shut it down in some places, then they shut it down everywhere. So it's hard to know exactly if the protests are dying, but they probably are somewhat dying down, right? But again, this is just one battle, but we have an entire war going on, right? And again, the point
and they can
is
come back again 6 months later. When Khamenei actually dies, they can come back again. This was a dress rehearsal. What about internet? You said the internet, they've been shutting down the internet, but Elon Musk has spoken.
Yes.
What's going on there?
Elon Musk has responded. He wanted to make his Starlink satellite internet available in Iran, which is, it seems like a dream come true for everybody in Iran. So be able to have access to it, like that is the most significant weapon in Iranian protesters' hands if the internet becomes freely available to them without, not freely, without filtering or censorship available to them. That would be a major game changer, right? And Elon Musk is saying that he's doing that, like the same way they did it for Ukraine. And it was a big game changer for Ukraine as well, but it would be an even bigger game changer for Iran because they don't have access to free information right now, right? That the mobilization access, the access to information for people who might be pro-regime is going to be so much easier. Challenging the regime's narrative is going to be so much easier. We're going to have a lot more access to our fellow Iranians, which I do a Persian show, and I don't have access to the vast majority of my potential audience, right? Because of the lack of internet access, right? Because it's all blocked. It's YouTube and Instagram is now even blocked, right? So that would be amazing. The great thing is that the Biden administration has came and responded to Elon Musk, and very surprisingly, I don't know who's responsible for this in the U.S. government actually, but the U.S. government, usually these things take a while, but they responded very fast and they removed all legal barriers because Iran is under sanctions, so you can't actually provide internet there. You might get into legal trouble. But they went like this in removing all the legal barriers for Elon Musk to be able to do this. So that's amazing. Now the only question is how to get the hardware in, because the hardware, just having satellite internet access is not good enough. You actually need the hardware, and you also need some other people to buy it for them, like for your friends and family there, because you can't actually pay Starlink because Iran's blacklisted financially and all. Like they can't actually use credit cards or anything to pay for the service, right? So it would probably be like some people have it because their family bought it for them outside of Iran, stuff like that. But again, even if only 1,000 people have it in
Iran, they can just share it. Yeah, they can just use it as a broadcasting station. Yeah.
No, I mean, no. The only thing, people could send their stuff to them using the internal network that they have, and from them it could go outside the country. That's what you could do, like all the stuff that you need to send and receive. So that's
all we need are like fresh videos coming out from the streets of Iran. That's all we need. Yeah?
And also guidance going in, tactical guidance.
Do you think? Now, here's a moral dilemma. A lot of people have been asking me this question, and I said, well, this is the problem, yeah? The moment Western powers get involved, it becomes pandemonium. It just goes crazy. Then you get the naysayers the opportunity to say, hey, look, see, this is a Western conspiracy. So what do you think? What can the West do? Like, I mean, if they give them weapons, then it's a problem. If they don't give them weapons, then Masih Ali-Najad, and a lot of people are actually saying, hey, look, why is the Biden administration and the West at large just quiet on this?
Okay, so first of all, they're not complaining about them being quiet about it because they're not quiet about it. The Biden administration, the Biden administration,
but they haven't given an official statement, though. Have they given an official statement?
What people like Masih Ali-Najad are upset about is the continued negotiations over JCPOA.
Right.
So, because the Biden administration has come out and condemned this, like very aggressively, more than Obama ever did, because they actually came out and said that we've learned our mistakes from Obama's administration. Because when the Green Revolution happened in Iran, Obama completely stood away from that. they didn't even endorse it or say anything in support of it. The reason is the Obama administration eventually they came out and said that the reason why we didn't do that is because we were supporting it, we wanted to support it, but we thought us supporting it would be bad for the people. But then the people of Iran constantly condemn Obama's administration for not saying anything about it, right? So the Biden administration has said like, yeah, okay, that was a mistake. And they're admitting that was a mistake, and they're like, we are supporting the Iranian people, talking about it. We're like fully like this. We're asking for the regime to blah blah blah. But then people like Masih Alinejad is like, that's just talk. That doesn't have anything. That has no influence. You're just talking. This is not what we want. We want actual observable actions, and you could start by not doing the JCPOA negotiations with the Islamic Republic. Like you're still like, as the regime is killing Iranian people, this is a terrorist state, and you are negotiating with them. You should, but the White House has came out and said like these two things have to be separate. The JCPOA negotiations and us supporting the Iranian people, those are two separate things, and we can do we have to separate these from each other. And their justification for it is that this regime is obviously dangerous and a violator of human rights, but if it had nukes, it would be even more aggressive in its violations of human rights, because it would not fear anything anymore.
Yeah.
Right? So they say the reason why we have to continue with the JCPOA negotiations is to make sure that this regime doesn't even become even more aggressive, because now it has nukes. That's what they're doing, right?
Speaking of Masih Alinejad, we've got. Did you get to see this New Yorker article? Can you add my screen? Can you add my screen? Yeah.
Yes,
it says, I'm leading this movement. The quoted this. The exiled journalist Masih Alinejad said the Iranian regime will be brought down by women. I believe this. And then she copped a lot of flack for this. I think Armin Navabi tweeted that as well. She said, something's
read her response.
Yeah, she said, I emailed you to correct this. I said I created anti-compulsory hijab campaign in the shape of so-and-so. I led these initiatives. The true leaders of anti-regime movements are inside Iran. So what happened there? I mean, I couldn't find Mariam's
I can't believe that they put that. Like, is that what is that? Is that the caption or the title?
Yeah. They said, I'm leading this movement.
The caption. That is, people are attacking. They're crucifying her for this right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like my people are messaging me on Telegram, and they're like,
who does she think she is?
No, and I'm like, what the hell? Obviously, first of all, I'm almost sure that she's being taken out of context. Like, I've been listening to Masih Alinejad for a very long time. This is not something that she would say, okay? But honestly, if she did say that, she's not quite right. She's not that wrong about it. Yeah. So she's leading portion of it, at least. A lot of people. I think she actually is somebody that tries to every time. She's actually very sensitive about reducing. Like, every time I listen to her, she keeps trying to highlight the people, and she keeps trying to reduce
her own role,
how big of a role she is.
She downplays her own part.
Downplays it. That's the word. She constantly downplays her part and saying that she's like, other people are the heroes and the leaders and stuff. So this caption goes against everything I've heard from her before. Right? I don't understand. What do they not check with her before they publish something? Like, this is incredible. I don't know how they get something. So, but people messaging me and telling them, Armin, I told you shouldn't have supported her. This is what she wants. Everybody is doing this just for power, for their own influence, their clout and stuff like that. I'm like, oh my God, this is how the opposition loses the battle, right? Because they just turn, this is the best hope for the regime, right? But the best hope for the opposition is for the regime, the supporters of regime, to get divided and turn on each other. The best hope for the regime is for people who are against it to turn on each other, right? And this is what Mahsa Amini's death has done. It has united people. It has united people across, from all walks of life. People from religious, secular, man, woman, Kurdish, Turkish, Iranian. We have been united. Well,
I get that. I mean, and it's a very exciting time, but at the same time, we don't know who else could come to power. And we spoke about it last week, and I think I spoke with Mariam about this as well, and she was like, "No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter." But like, I mean, aren't you worried for a little bit that there could be even a more radical power come?
I am very worried. Okay, and I still think this would long term be a good thing. I still think this would be a long term a good thing, even if in replacement of the Islamic Republic, we have another Islamic Republic. I still think this is a good idea. Okay, because we want a culture of protest and successful protest. Again, I will go back to the French Revolution as an example. The French Revolution, after the first couple of years, it was a disaster for France.
Napoleon came.
You had blood, a sea of blood. People were losing their heads left and right. Even the people who started the revolutions were losing their heads. And after all that bloodshed, you had Napoleon, which was even a bigger dictator than the king, right? But again, the French Revolution was long-term was a success. The problem is that if the Islamic Republic stays in power, right, you are 500 years from now, you are like, you think about the Dark Ages. Think about what the cost of that was to Europe. If you went through a bloodshed, like if you could cut that short, if you could cut that period short, even if the cost temporarily was high, it would have saved Europe years and years worth of like not progressing. So the hand of theocrats would be loose. The people are different now, right? So when you had the revolution in Iran in 1979, the people were religious. Okay, the people wanted a savior.
Now they don't.
Wanted saviors. Now they don't want saviors. Now they want people's power. Now they want secularism.
Democracy.
Now they want liberty. Okay, and now they're more aware. When Khomeini came to power, almost nobody had read Khomeini's book. These people thought that Khomeini was like Gandhi or Mandela. Okay, that's what their image was of him. That he's going to.
That guy was tying. This is the guy who was tying little girls, yeah?
Yeah, because they didn't read his books. They had no idea what his ideology was. They told people that like the Hussein ideology is an ideology of revolution, and this is the age of revolution. So these things
standing up against standing up against tyranny and all that.
Tyranny. People just believed it. Just like, okay, yeah, let's use the mullahs. They seem to be the more organized ones there, anyways, right? So like, let's try this out, right?
Okay. Okay. So we let's move on from that. But just one last question: do you think it would be a bad idea if the West started giving them some sort of weapons to fight against them? That'd be a bad idea.
Yes, I think I don't know actually. Okay, I don't know, but if they're going to be, here's what I would say. Okay, if people become armed, the most ideal situation would be because they attacked military units within Iran and they just got it themselves.
And they might unite them. And the military might get united too.
Again, I'm not suggesting for people to do anything. I'm just like analyzing different scenarios, right? So let's say if the people got armed and they got the upper hand because they got armed. If one scenario was because they got it from United States or Israel, okay? And the other scenario was like they just managed to capture a military unit or whatever, and they use the guns to go get more guns after that. Because guns, you know how money brings more money? Guns brings you more guns, right? Because when you have guns, you can attack more places to get guns. That second scenario would be a lot more ideal for the people. Okay.
Yeah, but I still. Yeah, sorry, go on.
Yeah, no, go on.
No, but I still reckon because what happened in Syria with Daesh and all that, like I think it'd be a bad idea to give them weapons because then you don't know what kind of faction. There'll be little warlords, and then there'll be. Yeah, then it'll be civil war.
That's why a more ideal version, third scenario, which would be the even most ideal, is for the Artesh to eventually, especially when Khamenei dies, if there are certain people within the Artesh, the people that already have guns, that have control over the guns, that it's not going to just get loose on the society, and then it's going to be hard to gather it after you do that, right? If the Artesh defects and joins the people, now you have an organized armed
army fight,
that will give the people the upper hand.
Protection, right? I think that would be the best. But this is why I said, like, I mean, Artesh favoring the people well, if those rumors are true or those videos are true, that's massive. And I hope that's the case. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. But that's why you see the some chants used to be not anymore, but asking the Artesh to join the side of the people. I mean, the fact that people chant that, but the downside of that is the Artesh usually comes and confirms that nope, we're taking the side of the regime. Like, you come and confirm that, but they may say that to save their own skin, because if there's any sign of defection, there will be executions and stuff, right? So, yeah. But at the Susanna sent me an article from Iran Wire. I don't know if I have it. This is actually big as well. I think. Oh yeah. Yes, this is okay. So, by the way, Susanna, I can't believe that she gets these things more.
She's on top of it.
I do.
She's on top of it.
Look at this.
Okay, what does that say? Exclusive IRGC. This is Revolutionary Guard commanders. Families placed in Tehran safe house. So their families have been placed in Tehran safe house because their families could come under threat as well. Is it? That?
No, I mean, so what? Okay, let's read this. I think what this suggests is that they are preparing for a potential fall. Okay, but I don't know if they're exaggerating this. But the fact that we could read it right here. Okay, but if this is true, that means that the people in the know are kind of seeing the potential of a fall. That is why this is significant. So let's read this actually. Let me see. Commanders of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, have moved their families to a safe place in Tehran, Iran Wire understands. A relative of one of those placed under protection told Iran Wire that relatives had been placed in the oil company guest house, which is under around-the-clock protection. The families, they said, had also been promised they will be transported to Georgia if nationwide protests intensify or if the government is overthrown. This is crazy because, okay, so we talk with limited information, okay? But these IRGC commanders, they have more information, okay? Yeah. If they... Even if these protests are not successful, the fact that it made them worried about the potential fall of the government means that the fall of a government were somewhat more likely than a lot of people.
It's still on the cards. It means it's still on the cards. Yeah,
that is significant. I was
going to ask you another question. I think it just popped out of my mind. Okay, all right. Well, I guess. We got to keep an eye on it then. You know, things are still developing very rapidly. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I just had to block somebody who was being rude to Susanna. Guys, if you do that, I will definitely block you from this channel. Yeah, so I want to show you a video that was inspired.
Oh yes, yeah. So people coming under attack. I was going to ask you. So did you watch that video of protests outside Tehran, Iranian embassy in London, where this mob just got a hold of this middle-aged man, and he was surrounded by the London police, and then he was kicked and beaten up, and I think he was knocked down, and his face was bloodied. And I was reading the caption underneath. It was saying that, this guy was working for the Iranian government, and he was there he was just spying on these people so he could find out who these people are, and then they could harass their families back in Iran. Did you watch that video?
Yes, I saw that. I can't show that on YouTube though.
Yeah, of course we can't show that.
Yeah. But I saw that. So many people were celebrating that.
No, but my point was, I wanted to ask. So obviously, this is not something that Iranian government would say. No, we're not going to stoop to that level. But is it likely that they would be keeping an eye on people who are talking about this overseas, and then they could harass their families in Iran?
Oh my God! Yes, of course. They have done this so many times. They come after your family. Masih Ali-Najad's brother is in prison in Iran right now for the crime that his sister is Masih Ali-Najad.
And even though he would be like, man, I've got nothing to do with this.
Yeah, they come after you to intimidate you. They have told people that.
But Masih hasn't slowed down.
What?
But Masih hasn't slowed down.
Oh no, she has. No. She has paid.
I mean, it makes me wonder. How much is whatever you're doing is worth? Is it worth it? Is it? because you can't make that.
I do what I okay. So I have always worried about them going after my dad in Iran, and I've talked to my dad about it, and he said like, well, I'm not gonna say what he said actually.
I mean, I didn't do my I didn't start my activism until my whole family was out of Pakistan. I was like, no, I'm not going to do it. Like I would have done this a couple of years earlier, but I didn't start my activism because I was like,
but you have to become. Here's the thing: you have to be really high level, like for them to come after your family. Like I do a mix of religion and political activism, so I'm not like 100% political activism. So that's why I wouldn't be a target. You have to, yeah.
But I reckon they go after. Same with the with the Pakistani government as well. They go after those who speak more against the military. Like, I mean, I've given my policy statements on Pakistani military, but I don't really talk about it as much because I'm more interested in Islam.
Yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, that's pretty bad.
Look at this video. This is beautiful. I'm gonna do it with that audio, so you don't get the music strike or anything.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. This is amazing. So now the camera is going to go on the other side. It's going to be like, yeah, okay. There's about 100 people against thousands, probably more than that. Yeah.
Wait, there was a better one. There was a better one. Let me find that one. Hold on. There was a beautiful animation. Oh yeah, this one is good. Hold on 1 second. No, not this one. If I could find it. Nope. Yeah, I can't find that one. Anyways, I'll find it later.
Doesn't matter.
But
well, thanks for bringing us up to speed with the.
Look at this one.
Iranian
look at the way.
issues.
Look at this girl. The way she's.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, I saw that one. That was like she's the way they're gonna throw it. Yeah, I hated it. Yeah. Look at the Western outfit. How Islamic are they? Look at the gear.
Look at the
that's
head.
it. It's gonna head's gonna. Oh.
You saw her head hit the pavement.
Yeah, curb. Yeah.
The curb.
سرش خورد به اینجا پدر سگ کثافت سرش خورد به این ای خدا مرگتون.
You know, I wonder, you were asking me last week, but yeah, okay, I'll talk to you privately about it. But like, what should you feel about these people when they're given the taste of their own medicine? But anyway.
Yeah, no, yeah. This. Hold on, let me show you this. You know the main chant that has captured everyone's attention is Zan Zandagi Azadi, which is woman, life, freedom.
Freedom.
Okay? Which is a translation of a Kurdish chant, especially because Mahsa Amini was Kurdish. And Iranian people are using this Persian translation of a Kurdish chant that has become the main highlight of the chants that everyone uses to show unity with Mahsa, to show what the ideals are, and also to show unity with Kurdistan, right? Part of Iran. But now we have, just a few hours ago, 2 hours ago, we have a new chant, okay? And this just came out. Look how many already got 21,000 likes, okay? And this is so beautiful. Let me just play it. Because the men say the same chant as before. Zan Zindagi Azadi, woman, life, freedom. And the women respond. Okay, hold on.
Are they saying man, life, Azadi?
No, so no. They're saying, you got the first part right. So the men are chanting women, life, freedom. Yeah. The women respond man, nation, prosperity. Man, nation, prosperity.
Right. Okay.
So this
everyone's working together. Everyone's working together.
This is beautiful. Well, this was just a beautiful. This made me like, I don't know. This made me feel things.
Okay. All right. I think we've covered this. This is good. We've given it 40 minutes, which is pretty good, and I think we'll be talking about. I'm pretty sure we'll be talking about it next week as well.
Yes.
I spoke with Mariam Namazi a few days ago. Go check it out on my channel.
Go check it out, guys. Harris Sultan
just-
channel. Go watch that.
Yeah, just put Harris Sultan Mariam Namazi Iran, and you'd be able to see it. So yeah, we're very lucky that we've got some Iranian people who can always bring us up to speed. How about we do something lighthearted?
Wait, 1 second. I found the animation that I wanted to show. Just last video I wanted to show, because, and then I will move on. I promise. Okay. So again, this has music. I'm not playing the music.
Okay, good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I saw this one. Yes. There's another one similar to that. Oh yeah. Did you see another one? There's another one where this woman is like, it looks like it's from a Marvel universe or something, where she just goes like this. She just takes her hijab off and rocks her head back, and then all these guards around her they just go flying. It was like, you haven't seen that? Oh, I reckon hang on, let me find that. I reckon I retweeted it. I was like, this was amazing.
Okay, sure.
Oh yeah. There you go. I'm gonna show you. Oh, this is. No, mine's the best, man. Mine's the best. Have a look at this. Okay. Check this out, guys. Check this out. Can you add my screen? Have you added it? Okay.
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Watch. There you go. Boom! Look at the smile. Yeah. Off you go.
It says on the screen. It says Zan Zindagi Azadi.
Yeah, then give up the fight. Give up. Yeah, this is amazing.
Yeah.
and even the music is pretty cool as well. So I'm like, yeah, these guys are doing really well. Like, I mean, they are really motivating and geeing people up. I say, yeah, this is it. Okay, let's move on. And I reckon we've got a super chat as well.
Thank you. Oh my God, 50 something. 50 Danish.
I think Danish Corona. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. One of my favorite quotes, Mr. What is it? How do you read this? You read.
Was it Callahan?
Callahan is a prime minister, and I am the king of kings. I don't know what this is reference to.
I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much for that. Super chat.
Okay. Children removed from Jewish sex. Okay. Yeah, we'll probably talk about some other time. Okay, so how about we do something very lighthearted?
Okay,
ready?
let's do that. Yeah.
And
then we get to Patreon questions.
Yeah, as you know, we've been coming under attack. A lot of radical Hindus have been attacking me. So someone made this meme. Look at this one. And you were mentioned. So I stand with Charlie Hebdo and Nupur Sharma. This is what radical Hindus are saying. But Teri Maki. So this is really cussing Armin Navabi. So it's like, okay, so when it's against, when it's Muslim Islamic blasphemy, they support, they stand with her. But when Armin Navabi does it to their gods and goddesses, they but underneath, you look at how Muslims behave. I stand with Zubair and MF Hussain. MF Hussain is a guy who blasphemes Hindu gods, and Zubair is an Indian journalist. He's always critical of radical Hindus. And then they say, "Oh, behead those who insult the Prophet."
That's fantastic. This is perfect.
It basically sums it up, doesn't it? Like, it's just. So anyway, so let's have a look at some of the comments from Muslims. So this is my tweet. So we've got like 100 and about 25 retweets, 130 likes. So he goes, "Oh, very funny though. Insult in reply for insult on religion is fair game. You're comparing that to beheading." I don't know why these Hindus keep giving it to me. They're like, but we're just cussing.
Yes.
Where did I say you are equally bad? Where did I say you're equally bad? I'm showing the worst of both communities.
What if somebody goes and kicks them in the balls, and then when they complain, you say, like, "I didn't behead you. I didn't behead you. Why are you complaining? I just kicked you in the balls. I kicked you in the balls."
This is the Tunni logic that I just have to put up with every single day. It's like, whatever happened to Armin? Whatever happened to Armin is replied to his insults. Okay, why should he get a free pass from insults when he does the same? Atheists should be willing to digest insults. Okay. Comparing beheadings with people abusing online, pretty apt, I see. I'm like, comparing? What do you mean by comparing? So we can't show the worst. This is your worst. Okay, you cuss. And I'm pretty sure if they could get their hands on you, Armin, I'm pretty sure, you wouldn't have walked away with a smile on your face. I'm pretty sure.
That's what they said. They said they want to behead me.
Yeah, they did. They did say that. But fair enough. Muslims a little bit more ahead of.
No, a lot. Let's be fair to them.
Okay. Well, I'm just sarcastic. Okay.
Every time I criticize Hindutva or like Sunnis,
radical Hindus,
right? Radical Hindus, okay, I criticize them with the understanding. I said this on the Atheist Republic show with Susanna on the news, right? I said that as with all the complaints that we have with the situation in India, India is better right now than the best of Islamic countries.
Oh, yeah.
Because we had the news about Morocco, right? We had the news about Morocco for somebody getting 10 years for blasphemy. You don't get 10 years in India for blasphemy, okay? And Morocco is supposed to be one of the most liberal Islamic countries. So I said, India is horrible right now, okay? Secularism is being challenged. But India, compared to the best Islamic country, the best that you could expect it from the Islamic countries, India is above that. So I criticize India with that in mind. With that in mind, I say that.
You're not winning any brownie points, man. You're not winning any brownie points.
Susanna knows details better than Go
yeah, but you're not winning any brownie points. They would still say,
care. I don't need your brownie points. I just know it, and I'm being fair. I care about me being fair. I get my brownie points from me. I don't need your brownie points.
Yeah. It's just a shame. Okay. Let's just go to patron questions.
Yes, I'm actually gonna go a question from Gusale, which is a patron. The first question is for you.
Oh. Yeah. What was your exposure to Hinduism like growing up? I was pretty chilled. My household, my immediate vicinity, my circle, they were pretty chilled. We watched Bollywood movies, basically. So my exposure was Anil Kapoor, Amitabh Bachchan. My uncles were massive fans of Amitabh Bachchan. So he even had the Amitabh Bachchan hairstyle and all that. So we used to sing Bollywood songs and all that. And in the 90s, early on, my favorite was anyway. So it was basically Bollywood movies. So no, there was no hatred, as these Sunnis like to say that to me. Oh, because you're a Pakistani, that's why you have this inbuilt hatred for Hindus, which I never did. I get it that there is some hatred in certain Pakistani circles for Hindus, but not really, not in my immediate vicinity, not in my circle. And a lot of people, there was no hatred for Hindus per se. The hatred for India the hatred was for Indians, not necessarily for Hindus. This hatred was for India, and that was mainly because of Kashmir, because Pakistanis were told. So I was actually talking to someone yesterday, and they were saying that, Mutaliya Pakistan, which is a subject in Pakistan where they just teach you false history of Pakistan, that might be a bigger problem when it comes to India-Pakistan relationships than Islam itself. And I've been thinking about it since yesterday, and I think that guy made a very good point, because Pakistanis' hatred for India is not necessarily because of Hinduism. It's more so because of what they think is, hey, look, Kashmir belongs to us. They've done that. And now, obviously, there's a bit more Hindu element ever since Modi came in. So yeah, yes, you would find odd lines here and there where they would say derogatory things about Hindus, which you don't see those things in Indian textbooks. But I don't think that was the main reason, because Bollywood really, really watered it down. Because I've said it before, like, if your lead actor who happens to be a Hindu, he's dying in a movie, we're all crying. We're like, So it's not like that. So no. So my exposure to Hinduism wasn't bad. We also celebrated the fact that you got Holi, you got Diwali. like all those Hindu festivals were pretty admired. Hinduism was viewed as cool. Like these guys dance and all that. So yeah, no, there was no hatred per se, if that's what you wanted to know. So you're on mute. You're on mute.
Well, my experience has been usually when there is hatred and division over one thing, then you would identify other things that the people you hate have in common, and you add those to the list. So it starts with something else. So if you hate them for something and they also happen to be Hindu, so let's say you hate them for A, but let's say they also have B in common, you add B to the list of the reasons why you hate them.
Yeah, I agree. That's better. So primary issue was Kashmir. Look what they've done to our Muslim brothers in Kashmir. They're evil, blah blah blah. And why did they do it? Because they're Hindus. And then they would say, Hindus are bad. So that's the secondary concern. So I genuinely now I'm thinking, if you could fix Mutaliya Pakistan, this bigotry, this false history of Pakistan, what they teach our kids, if you could get rid of that, it might be okay. Hinduism I don't think Hinduism would be that much of an issue. But again, who knows? Because Pakistan is getting more Islamized.
if you could build more economic ties, usually that really helps reduce hate.
Yeah, but we've done that, and then they've taken it back. And
reducing economic ties is actually very dangerous to increasing the hate when you don't need people. This is why when you have like people saying not selling to Muslims or not selling to Hindus, this could the best hope that we have is people having economic ties with each other.
Yeah, I agree.
Satya, by the way, who's a Hindutva, is saying he's winning brownie points from me. Satya is Hindutva and constantly supports me at Susanna and Atheist Republic, and Satya is always good for me to remember that I shouldn't generalize what I say about Hindutva. This is why it's good that you created this new word, Tunni, because thank you, Satya, for all. Yeah, go.
Hindutva. Like, I mean, one of my friends, our common friends, Kushal also called himself Hindutva.
So I still hate Hindutva ideology, but I don't. Again, it's
of course, it's a religious supremacist. Yeah, it's a religious supremacist, and it's tribalism. So and these guys don't make any.
It's kind of like we hate Islam, but we could love some Muslims, many Muslims, right? I could say that I'm doing that with Hindutva now. I hate Hindutva ideology, but I have Hindutva friends.
Hindutva ideology is we want to make Hindu Rashtra, like Hindu Republic. Yes, India. Yes. That's what they want to do. So of course, we can't. Us as radical atheists, we can never support it.
Yeah. We have atheists, Indian atheists, who support that, saying that because we don't see any road for India's enlightenment, we will support the next best thing to save India from becoming Islam.
That's a very defeatist attitude.
Yeah. You don't know. Yeah, you guys, you're not giving India enough credit. Okay, nations have become enlightened. Look at the Enlightenment age; it happened so much faster than anybody could have predicted. Right? Okay, so I'm going to remove this. All right, so here's another question. What would you say to international people who feel disenchanted with the current Iranian uprising because they were super big supporters of the Green Revolution, only to see it dissipate? Yeah, so like what you said, like we had previous uprisings and protests in Iran, and people were very hopeful about its results, and it led to nothing. And say people like, this is just another version of that. People get excited. People get like, maybe there's a chance. Maybe this is Iran's moment of awakening, and then it ends up, dies down, and nothing happens. What do you think?
I don't know. I don't know. Who would there be such people in the international?
There are a lot of. And Iranians too. There are many Iranians. There are people in the live chat.
I saw that. I saw some of the videos where they were saying, there are other people coming out in support of the Green Revolution as well. But internationally, would there be people who would be I don't know. I haven't.
Susanna has more eyes than everywhere than we do. So I would ask Susanna in the live chat. Susanna, if you could, are you in the live chat? Yeah. So I don't know. No, I haven't. You're right. Actually, you're right. I haven't. I'm gonna ask. We'll see if we could address this in the because she's my eyes and ears when it comes to what the conversation is. Like even on Iran related news, which I should be more aware. But I would I've seen a lot of this because my eyes and ears is right now not with the international community but with the Iranian community. Like I am constantly consuming what I'm hearing from Iranians, especially from Iranians within Iran. And I see that narrative there a lot. There is a division between people who are anti-regime. Some people are certain, beyond the shadow of the doubt. Like they're planning on the things that they're going to do to the mullahs. Like they're like, I'm going to cut all their balls. We're going to put them, they're going to hang them. They're going to put them down. People are like, no, we shouldn't kill them. It's too good for them. We should put them in mandatory service to fix the regime. We should enslave, stuff like that. And people are like, it's crazy. So,
not a good. So, you know what would be the best punishment for them?
What?
It'd be like organized female protest in front of them and force them to watch it, force them to look at it, like women taking their hair off and then force them watch it.
I see so many people from that are anti-regime. Like I listen to their conversations all the time, right? And so many of them, I would say most of them, are hoping Khamenei is not dead. They're saying okay, as much as good as it would be for the revolution, they kind of hope that he's not dead because they're like, that's because they want him. They want to capture him alive. They want him. They want to capture. They want this man to suffer.
Now I'm actually thinking about it. Because I was really wondering. It is a bit of a dilemma for the West. Like, what do we do? Should we give them weapons? If we do give them weapons, then these militias are going to form. What's going to happen? And then it could just go sideways. A lot of bad things can happen. But on the other hand, you can't let the world see what's happening against these unarmed civilians and they're being beaten up. And then, there would be more resentment in the public. And then if the public does manage to overthrow the regime, and then there's going to be violence again, all over again. It's just, this is why I'm not.
But every time
I'm never in favor of revolutions. Anarchy. The idea of anarchist never really resounded with me.
Here's what I used to think that maybe I can't decide, because if a revolution happens, the cost that the Iranian people would pay would be significant.
Yes,
significant. It would be chaos, right? But at the same time, any pressure, including a chance for a revolution on the Islamic Republic of Iran, is the only weapon that people have. Nothing else has worked. Reform doesn't work. So as costly as a revolution might be, it might be the only alternative they have. The only thing they have, the only thing that is left. It's a bad option, but it's the only thing you have.
Yeah,
right?
I agree.
And here's another thing. At the end of the day, I can't say, people go into the streets, because if they go and die and they pay a heavy price for it, I'm in a safe place. I'm not going to pay anything for it, right? But the thing is that they will make the decisions themselves. My role is to just support them, whatever they decide, right? Because it's not up to us what the Iranian people do.
Yeah, but there's going to be violence. Yeah, but there's going to be violence. There's going to be bad violence.
But the violence is forced upon them. They did not choose it. The violence has been forced upon them. They're just defending themselves. I could just, what should I do? Go tell people to protest or not to protest? They're going to do what they're going to do. What our role could be is to, whatever they decide to do, which is a revolution, they want to do a revolution, right? They want to do a revolution. So I think we should respect that choice and see how we could help.
So they're going to cut off the bulls? You're going to be like...
I'm not going to support that. No. I think if there is a revolution, there's going to be an internal division over having law and order and having courts and doing things properly, and people and other people who want to see all these people...
I reckon once you do come to power, once you have managed to overthrow the regime, then it's irrelevant. You can just send them to exile or whatever. But I think
there are so many people that their main motivation for doing this is revenge, right? Again, I don't know what percentage, but I'm pretty sure if the revolution is ever successful, between the people. There will be a major fight over this, about what we do with the mullahs after. There are people who want to see mass executions, right? And there are people who say like, no, this is not how we're going to start, because that's how the Islamic Republic started. The Islamic Republic, once it came to power, there were mass executions. Like, we need to be better.
The current president also killed a lot of people,
Yes.
and he has to answer for war crimes. Yeah, he was saying.
Yes,
not
yes,
war
yes.
crimes, but just crimes against humanity.
Yeah,
right.
There are some people who say like, we could have law and order, that we do things properly, but before we have a government come to power, you should just give a period of time to us to just do some cleansing. And by cleansing, they mean violence, right? And that scares me. But the thing is, even as scary as that is, it can't be as bad as this regime. You know what I mean? Long term, it can't be as bad as this regime. It cannot be. Yeah. I mean, long term.
I was just comparing that with Pakistan. Like, in Pakistan, it looks like it's going downhill. It does look. I mean, a lot of people disagree with me. I feel TLP is getting more and more powerful, but people still say no. There's no way they're ever going to come to power. But over there in Pakistan, you know that whatever kind of a proto-democracy that is, there's always hope. Like, you know how you were saying that the people, there's no other option. But in Pakistan, there would always be as long as this system or this setup stays in place, there would always be a way where it could incrementally get better with time. It might take a long time, but it could keep getting better.
Yeah.
Oh, you cannot expect cute and lovely revolution. Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm not. Yeah.
No, actually, I don't know if you can say that. I mean, I agree with you. Maybe in Iran, maybe not in the Middle East, but we have had many peaceful revolutions. In fact, the peaceful, non-bloody revolutions have been the most successful ones. So, based on studies, if your revolution is violent, your chances of success is 20%. If your revolution is non-violent and peaceful, your chances of success is 50%. Okay. However, this study doesn't take into account that a lot of the revolutions that have become violent, they didn't choose violence. The violence was inflicted on them, and the protesters' violence was just self-defense. So you cannot take the study and like, oh, let's keep it peaceful. How could you keep it peaceful when the other side is not, right? So it's not. Yeah. So there's that.
But this is the reason why, like, we just think that if what's the army's name?
Atesh.
If Atesh just comes out and says, nope, we're not going to shoot our own people, screw you, then that's it. Then it's over. I reckon that's over then.
I don't know. I don't think that's over. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay,
this could be done. Yeah. What Susanna just said.
Okay, so Harris, the most important part of the equation, if people are not taking into account. Well, let me read what Susanna says. Susanna said, "Can we just get some Nuremberg trial 2.0, some tribunals?"
Yeah, Tehran trials. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, but the regime, okay, has. So there's different estimates, okay? Some people say 20 million, some people say 10 million, some people less, okay? But I would say at least 10 million Iranians support this regime, okay? Out of a population of 82 million, okay?
That's not it's a lot, but it's not, okay, it's a lot.
Yeah, okay.
It's a lot.
Out of this 10 million, okay, potentially 20, but let's say 10, at least 100,000 of them are willing to die for it. At least 100,000, okay, to keep it in power, right? ISIS's membership at its peak was 40,000. Okay, so, and these 100,000, they have experience with weapons, and they have been to war. ISIS's members, many of them didn't. These are battle-hardened people that have experience in Iraq, in Syria, in Yemen, and in Afghanistan, okay? And they have access to weapons, more than ISIS ever had, right? 100,000 people, it could be a curse upon a nation that wants secular democracy, even if the regime falls. How are you going to keep them in check? I don't know, right? So so that's the part, like, the regime is gone. okay, the loyalists are still there. The 10 million Iranians that want an Islamic Republic, I know they're the minority, but that's 10 million Iranians. They're not just going to pack up and leave. They're not just going to go home and be like, okay, this is like, I guess we're going to have to deal with this. You know what I mean? They're not going to.
Yeah, no, but in those situations they employ other kind of tactics, which but what they did in South Africa, like truth and reconciliation, where they go, okay, we're going to let you. Well, this is a new form of government. How about you become?
South Africa didn't
have
loyalists that were ready to die for the regime.
No, I get it. But but I'm saying what they say. Okay, you can form your political party. We can give you some seats as well. Like they can.
They don't want political party. They want an Islamic regime. They want the rule of Islam. They want Islam.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Yeah, that's what they want. 100%. I'm sure there would be a way. I'm just talking out loud.
Yeah.
I'm speaking my mind, but in the same, they could probably give them something, a meet halfway kind of thing. But anyway, I'm not the expert, so
for them, halfway is zero. But we'll see.
We'll
see. That is the here's. I have to say to the people who are anti-regime like me, okay, you cannot wish these people away. Okay, so I want a secular democracy for Iran, but you have to. These people. They are Iranian citizens, and you cannot erase them. So you have to figure out a way to negotiate with them. You cannot be like, oh, you have to submit. Okay, you cannot force this upon them. You have to do you cannot just you cannot do seas of blood everywhere. You cannot execute, because a lot of people are saying like, we're going to execute every single Islamic Republic supporter. Okay, that would mean like you want to execute 10 million people. You cannot do that. You have to share this country with these religious Shia pro-regime people. So there has to be some give and take, like Harris said. Anyways, let's move on. All right. No, we already read that one. Here's another. I've seen several videos of Basijis getting assaulted by groups protesting Mahsa Amini's murder. Is this justified considering the Basij special forces much more severe violence against the protesters and the legacy of legitimately fascist oppression? Is this self-defense? I would say self-defense.
Yeah, I reckon it's self-defense. And I was thinking about it, like how you asked me last time. I was put on a spot. I hadn't thought about it, but then I thought about it afterwards. Like, well, I mean, there's an increase in violence against these religious moral police and these kind of clerics and mullahs. Hang on. Yeah. So how would you see it? And I'm like, of course it's wrong, but what can happen? Like, I don't want to be an idiot who would think that, this revolution or all this upheaval is going to take place without any violence. I mean, I would have to be the world's biggest idiot to think that, okay, they're just going to give each other roses, hugs, and kisses, and then I'm like, okay, roll over and die. It just doesn't work that way, and it's scary. Look, I mean, and the reason why I'm saying not out of sympathy for these people, as what we just mentioned earlier, like, I mean, I don't know about the study that you were talking about, but it seems like it makes sense that if there is a bloodied revolution, I mean, things are not going to stabilize for a long, long time. It's just not going to happen. So even if you're being violent towards the bad guys, even then, like there's going to be violence in the society. You're not going to be able to stabilize the government, and it's just not going to be good. So, but unfortunately, and as you said, this violence is being put upon these people, and they have no choice. And obviously, when tempers flare up, I saw this video outside of London, outside of Iranian embassy in London. These people just pounced on him, and who knows? As soon as they found out, oh, this guy is taking our videos or he's taking our photos so he can arrest and torture our family members back in Iran. I mean, imagine in that moment, you've just discovered this. You're already very angry. Your temper's through the roof. What are you going to do? So these things are likely to happen. Now, obviously, I'm not connected to this, so I can sit back and I can say, "Oh, I don't think that's appropriate." But yeah, the world isn't run by calmer minds all the time. I mean, I can't remember. There's this quote that, like, I mean, something like smart people sit on their chairs and brave people fight on the streets and stuff like that, which is, and smart people deliberately leave their bravery to the fools who are brave. So yeah, I don't know what I'm.
Well, I don't know if I could call them fools, because they're actually making a very, correct calculation when they are forced to a position where violence is the only way to defend yourself, because violence is being forced upon you. That is,
but in the eyes of the person who just who's just sitting on his armchair and is saying, "Well, you know what? I wouldn't go out there. I wouldn't do it because he."
Yep, but you can support
That's
it.
not how you survive. Yeah. I get it, but he's not brave. Yeah, but so he's gonna reap the benefits of that too. But I'm just
saying the framing of the other brave people as fools might not be quite accurate, because they are making a very correct calculation when it comes to what they're forced to do. Right? I mean, let's put this in context. For example, if you have footage of, I don't know, during World War II, somebody taking out an SS officer, you wouldn't be like, "Oh, why are you?" Nobody would say like, "Why are you committing violence against the SS officer?"
Well, no,
right?
I'm not. Yeah.
People who are like, let's say you have some.
It's perfectly understandable violence. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. It's perfectly understandable violence. But I'm saying people who are not connected to it, they can say, "Well, okay, if you could apprehend that person and put him in prison, that would be ideal." But obviously, that's a fool's dream. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, but what's happening is war right now. Like there's war inflicted upon Iranian people by their own regime, right? So this is wartime moral standards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if if a German was trying to save his or her country from Nazi Germany, and they were like taking plans and like all of a sudden secretly took out an SS officer, we would be like, yes, praising that, right? We would like, no, even armchair people would be like, yeah, good job. This is good. That person would be part of, one of heroes, right? And I just like want people to understand that a Basiji has the same position in Iran that an SS officer had back in Nazi Germany. That is what a Basiji is to Iranians. Exactly.
Oh, that. Yeah. That's an SS officer. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. All right. Again, I'm not advocating for anybody to do anything, because it's not my position. I am not in Iran, but I'm saying when Iranian people decide to do these things, I support them. I do not tell Iranian people go commit violence or not commit violence, but whatever decisions they're made, I'm here to support what decision that is. I just want people to understand that I'm not advocating for anything, right? I'm just observing what decisions has been made.
But if you do support them, then isn't that advocating it?
No, because if they had decided something else, I would have supported that as well. If they came at them like, we are going to have peaceful resistance, I will be here to support you. If they came at us and like, no, they're committing violence upon us and we need to defend ourselves, I was like, I'm here to support that, right? So
that's like saying that, oh, if your kid has committed a crime, well, whatever kind of crime that is, you can imagine whichever one you want to. But you just go to you go to the court and you say, well, I support my son. Would that be, even though he's raped someone or murdered someone?
Your analogy would be more accurate if my son was kidnapped in a basement, okay, and he was deciding between a decision of negotiating with his kidnapper or like to get out, or like as soon as he grabs a brick to smack him in the head and get out, right? So because you're talking about a situation when you're not in danger and you're not suffering and you just go and harm somebody, I'm like, oh, I support that. No, I wouldn't support that. Okay, this is my analogy would be more accurate because now I'm talking about my son or daughter in a position where they're being harmed and they're thinking about two different strategies on how to get out of that position. Whatever decision they go with, whatever strategy, I would go to the judge like, why have you even arrested my son? My son was kidnapped. What the hell? What's wrong with you? Like I wouldn't even be in that position because he wouldn't be arrested.
No, fair enough. Your analogy is better, yeah.
All right, here's a super chat. This was to you. AD5. Do you want to read
85? Yeah, 85 is saying, if it isn't a communist trying to school an Eastern European on communism, have fun and beers. Communist trying to school an Eastern European. 85 is from Croatia, so they're like, oh, you're trying to teach an Eastern European what communism is, but I don't know who it was. Who was trying to teach you communism anyway? Did we talk about communism today? No, we did.
No, we didn't.
Maybe there would have been.
Stay away from communism, people. I should end my shows with how Apostle Prophet say stay away from Islam.
Stay away from Islam. Yeah.
Yeah, I should say stay away from communism. That should be my tagline.
Oh, right.
Okay, 2 more super chats. Between wild blasphemy allegations and being accused of terrorism, what the F is going on with Imran Khan right now?
He's an idiot. Where do I begin? So anyway, did you hear that? Did you and Susanna cover the news story where did I play that video last time?
No. Oh wait, you did play something.
Where he said that I want to free my people from from the seerah, from the example of the Prophet.
What?
It was a slip of a tongue, but it was stupid.
He wanted to. Imran Khan said that he wants to free the people from the tradition of the Prophet Muhammad.
Yeah. Watch it.
From what the hell? That's okay. I agree. That's
पूरी कोशिश है कि मैं अपने नबी सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की आपको उनकी जिंदगी उनकी सीरत से आपको भी आजाद करूं क्योंकि हम अभी तक हकीकी तौर पे आजाद नहीं हुए.
Oh no. Oh, what the hell? What?
Yeah, he said that. What he meant to say was that using Prophet's example, we want to free ourselves from other things, because we're not truly free yet. Meaning we're enslaved by America.
Let me believe. Imran Khan, Zindabad. He joined our side. He joined our side, guys.
Yeah.
The most popular man in Pakistan is an ex-Muslim now.
Yeah, so he also came up with a new definition of shirk. What's this one?
Did anybody?
नौकरी को बचाने के लिए गलत काम करते हैं, गुनाह करते हैं, ये भी एक शिर्क है. ये जो अभी बिके हमारे लोग भेड़ बकरियों की तरह, ये भी शिर्क है, क्योंकि अल्लाह अल हक है.
What? Wait, what? Yeah. What's shirk? I don't understand.
So he has this bad habit of mixing religion with his politics. All the time he's doing it. So he's trying to convince his voters that, hey, I think he made a statement, some similar statement, or he was accused of saying that, but he's paraphrasing him. He does go on and say, hey, if you don't vote for me, then you're committing shirk. If you don't vote for me, if you vote for these other guys, Nawaz Sharif and all these other guys, because they're corrupt, you are committing shirk. So he's like,
but that is shirk. That what he's saying is shirk. If he says that if you agree with other people, then that's shirk. That means if you have associate partners with me, or if you go with somebody else other than me,
yes.
So that means that he's putting himself in the position of Allah.
Yes, exactly.
That is shirk.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with him. So he's gone senile. He's gone fully crazy. So yeah, he's an idiot.
How come he's not like in Pakistan? When you by accident, right, put Muhammad in the garbage can, they come and they
No,
come
but
and,
it's too
you
big.
know,
No, but it's too big. So there were quite a few Twitter
bigger than
hashtags
Allah.
that were going against him. No, there were quite a few Twitter hashtags. No, but he's got mad following. Every time when he's accused of blasphemy, they his fanboys and fangirls, we call them youth-ears, they bring his speech in that UN General Assembly. Remember that god awful speech when he said, "Oh yeah, you bring blasphemy law in." He did that in 2018.
So that
Remember
got
that
him
one?
a lot of credit.
He did. He also takes a lot of credit for the World Islamophobia Day, and apparently, he actually did have a major role in that. He did play a vital role in that. So
as much as we hate what he did, you know, he played his cards well. Like that got him a lot of credit among Pakistani. Like it has been the return on investment on those efforts has been really good for him.
Yeah. No, but then he also turned out to be the first Muslim leader to condemn this attack on Salman Rushdie. You know, in his interview. Yeah, did you not watch that? Guardian interviewed him, and obviously they put him on the spot, and they said, what do you think about this attack on Salman Rushdie? And he gave the same.
If it was anyone else, they would have crucified him in Pakistan for saying something like that right now. Any politician, the political career would be over. If you were a politician in Pakistan and condemned Salman Rushdie's attack in Pakistan, that would be the end of your political career. Only Imran Khan can survive these things.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, you're right. He can. Because he's a darling of a lot of people. But yeah,
amazing.
It is amazing. I mean, you can't work it out. Sometimes you can't work it out. Yeah.
All right. So going from one celebrity to another, here's a last question. Kim Kardashian posted about the Iranian protests, followed by an explainer that says that the Iranian people are not protesting against Islam. They are simply protesting for the sake of all these rights that are denied to them. What is your reaction? I flipped out. Okay, I actually have it. What do you think? I could bring what she posted.
No, I didn't even see it. So no, I don't know. If I'm an explainer that says that. Okay, be informed. So that's Kim K, right? Okay.
That's Kim K.
Iranians are not protesting against Islam or any other religion. How do you know this? You know, this is why. Sometimes just stay out of it. Okay, if you're gonna try to play on both sides of the court of the net, then just stay out of it. We don't need your freaking support. They're fighting for their basic rights.
But go on.
They're fighting for their basic rights. The right for women to sing in their country. Yeah, Islam forbids that, biatch. The right for women to ask for a divorce. Islam doesn't allow that. So they are going against Islam. The right for women to have custody over their children. Sorry, I'm not looking good for Islam. The right to choose how they dress. Definitely going against Islam then. To stop wrongful imprisonment. Okay, yeah, maybe. To stop torture and rape while under arrest. Okay, that's not Islamic. For freedom of speech. You're definitely un-Islamic, not only for journalists but for all citizens, for the many Iranians abroad that fear a death sentence upon returning to their homeland. They are fighting to get Iran back. They're fighting for the future of the children. Well, they are fighting against Islam then. This movement is anti-Islam.
Okay, so when you say if it's anti-Islam or not, okay, so it is against my understanding of Islam and Harris's understanding of Islam. But as we all know, so many people have different understanding of Islam. And there are many people who think Islam doesn't stand against any of these things. You could perfectly do all of these things and still be a Muslim, okay?
In fact, all of these things are, in fact, I would say all of these things are un-Islamic, like forcing women to wear, having basic rights,
No, but there are many people who are saying I'm Muslim and I think it's okay to dance and sing and like show their hair. Muslims to show their hair, right? So, so technically, what she's saying is not true, but what you're saying is not true, Harris, either, because we can't anybody says Iranians are protesting against, or saying Iranians are not protesting against. Okay, maybe you should like clarify. I make this mistake as well, okay? Because the majority of Iranians, the thing that they're protesting for right now is the regime for the regime to fall, right? The vast majority, okay? Sometimes I say the protesters, and I should say the vast majority of protesters, right? But when she says Iranians are not protesting, it's such a general. You could almost guarantee to be wrong, and you have to be careful not to generalize Iranian protesters.
Because she's appeasing. Yeah, because she's appeasing the Muslim, like, oh, because everyone's scared of Islamophobia narrative. Everyone's scared of that. I don't want to come across as an Islamophobic. So calm down, guys. When these guys don't hate Islam, okay, just support them. They don't hate Islam. That's the kind of appeasement.
Okay, so the truth is that there are among the protesters. So what is seemingly uniting all of them is that they're anti-regime. Okay, but whether they're anti-Islam or not anti-Islam, they are different groups. There are many protesters who are anti-Islam, and they're protesting against Islam, and the Islamic regime is a representative of Islam for them. I listen to a lot of these people. A lot of these protesters think that this is just the start. Once they take out the regime, they're going to end Islam globally. That's what I hear them say. Like this is the first. Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, but that would be some.
They're crazy, right? So, okay, I know they're crazy, but this is their hope. But this is like we're going to start in Iran. We're going to liberate Iran from Islam, and then we're going to go for other Islamic countries.
Pakistan. I'll join hands with them for Pakistan.
So, the people are saying based in the live chat. But there are many Iranians who they hate Islam with a passion. With a passion, like as much as I hate Islam, sometimes these people hate Islam. The only place in the world where I can find people who hate Islam with a greater passion than even me is in Iran, right? Aggressively against Islam, okay? So when you say Iranians are not protesting against Islam, you're right about some of them. Some of them are like Muslims who are protesting against the government, right? But some of them, you're wrong about some of them. So you don't generalize like that. Some of them are like aggressively
this is what I meant.
Islamic. Right. Yes.
This is what I meant. Yeah, look, fair enough. This is what I meant, but I get it. I think I jumped on the fact that this is a very common behavior these days, that people want to appease Muslims. That please, okay, don't feel bad about this. We don't want to touch your cuddly bear called Islam. We're not going after that. So let's just get behind all these people. And yes, your religion would not be tarnished. Your religion would not be attacked or damaged. So let's just get behind these women. I think this has become all too common these days.
Oh, okay, but here's the main criticism I have with this post. Okay, that's not the thing that needs focus right now. Let's say even if it's true, like I've seen so many people coming out. I see Ali Daba. I saw Susanna send me an Instagram post of Muslims coming and saying like, what is happening in Iran, what the regime is doing is not Islamic. This is not the true Islam. I mean, really, is this the time? This is the fact that your priority, you see Iranian people are being killed in the streets, and you're like, oh my God, we need to save Islam. You're right? Yeah. Your priorities are, check your priority. Which one do you think needs saving right now? Islam or the people? The fact that your instinct is to come and like, oh, Islam, let me protect Islam. That is just like your timing says everything. Your timing says where your priorities lies. And that is the bigger problem. Even if it's true that this is what they're doing is not Islamic. Even if it's true, if it's the protests, it is not against Islam, against the regime. The fact that you think ideologies deserves more of your protection than the people in the streets tells me something is wrong. Especially when it comes to, like, I have this advice from Muslims as well. Muslims who are looking at what's happening in Iran and seeing women taking off their hijabs and burning it, okay? And if as a Muslim, okay, because I know many Muslims who are better than this. I know Muslims who think like, oh my God, people's lives, right? But if you are one of the Muslims who the first thing that comes to your mind, like, oh my God, people are going to think badly of Islam, then your priorities are fucked.
Yeah. But speaking of celebrities, though, we should still say, okay, as you said, okay, so there's Islam and there's people there, people fighting for their human rights, and Islam's sanctity has to be preserved as well, because us celebrities, sorry, that's a bit too controversial. We don't want to go there. So, but still, having said that, if you can forgive her that, okay, she's navigated through that. She doesn't want to tackle two beasts at the same time. So she's becoming political. She's making a political statement, and B, we can't really expect her to go after Islam as well. So she doesn't want to tackle two beasts.
You don't have to go on, like, this is what
I get it.
Is saying. Yeah.
No, I get it.
Yeah, go. Yeah, go
ahead. Yeah, no, this is what I'm saying. No, I get it. She doesn't have to. So even if she had bypassed it, I get it. But she wanted to be holistic in her approach. So she wanted to, because a lot of people, hang on a second, because a lot of people do think that, okay, when you burn a hijab, and look what we've been what we have been saying to Western liberals and leftist people. We've been saying, hey, you come out in support of hijabs. Why don't you come out in support of burning the hijab now? So they're like, oh, would that be seen as Islamic? Because right to wear a hijab is Islamic, so right to burn a hijab would be un-Islamic. I mean, these are the things people see these things as in binaries. So that's why I think she was trying to be holistic, and she said it. So just moving past that, okay, it's still is good enough that at least she talked about it. How many other celebrities are not saying it? Who is the biggest celebrity these days? When you hear about of a movie star or a celebrity, what's the biggest name that pops to your head?
I'm drawing a blank. I don't know. Who comes to your mind? Wait, hold on.
Most Instagram followers.
Justin Bieber?
No, Bieber's gone.
He talked about Iran, by the way.
Oh, he did? No, The Rock. The Rock is
the Rock
biggest.
Is bigger than really?
Yeah,
bigger than Justin Bieber?
Oh yeah, he's bigger than everyone. He's the biggest, hands down.
I am
but he's so clever. Never, ever, ever says anything that is not populist. He just stays clear of any controversy. But that guy, I think the only time when he actually did make a political statement, that was when he supported Joe Biden, and he caught a lot of flack for it as well. That was the only time. Other than that, all he does is like he just takes photos with some cute kids, and it's like, oh, the kids are crying. He's like, oh, I'll take a photo, yeah, act cool, and it's like, mate. So having said that, so okay, fair enough. Okay, Rock, you want to be a coward. You don't want to. He even shook hands with the MBS. So yeah. So you want to be a coward? Okay, screw you. We don't need that. But I'm saying there are celebrities who can just stay quiet, not damage their brand. But then if Kim K said it, okay, we should still be a little bit grateful to her for saying that.
Yeah, so I agree with that. Even if people say the wrong things, talking about the subject is huge.
Still important, yeah.
Yeah, the fact that they're bringing attention to it, I'd rather them say a wrong thing than nothing at all, okay? So thank you for talking about it. But I will still criticize the wrong thing that you said. Another thing is that even I disagree with what Oxymoron is saying. Okay, like you also say like, oh, you just want to wholesome. Well, and you're saying so. Oxymoron is saying, to be fair, that is what celebrities are supposed to say. They love their careers. You don't have to say this. You know that you don't get any problem. You don't get in any problems with if you just say that I support the Iranian women's rights and I'm against a morality police and the oppressive regime. Nobody's going to come and say like, "Oh, how dare you? You're being Islamophobic." Like right now, everybody's saying it.
No, but some people could say it. No, the only reason. No, but the only reason.
The Muslims around the world right now, they're coming out and they're saying
because they're Sunnis. Because that's Shias.
No, even the Shias around the world. Okay, they other than that 10 million pro regime supporter, even the Shias do not support this regime. Right? Other than the 10 million loyalists that they have, and maybe some Hezbollah in Lebanon and some Hashishabi and other people in Iraq and Syria. right?
Wow.
But it's not a big population. Globally, they wouldn't add to 50 million, right? Globally.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's mostly in the Middle East anyways.
No, but
I'm saying you wouldn't get in trouble for being anti-Islamic Republic of Iran. You wouldn't get in trouble for bigotry, right? So you don't have to. We're not saying come out and say, oh, this is like they're fighting Islam. Good job. Like that's not as a celebrity. I know that you cannot come and say like, yeah,
you might actually get some brownie points. You might actually get some brownie points in this case.
I know, but I'm just saying you don't have. All you had to do is just support the Iranian people. You didn't have to say whether this is pro-Islam or anti-Islam.
No, but see, there is the point. So maybe you understand the nitty-gritty of that. We know that it's Shia Sunni divided. This is why I said she wanted to be holistic in a tweet or in a Instagram post. I'm supporting the Iranian women, and that does not mean I'm anti-Islam. That's what she wanted to say.
The anti-Islamic part right now,
I think it was unnecessary.
There's not that many people that are accusing you for being anti-Islam, for being
supporting proactive. She was being proactive.
You don't need to. That's too proactive. That is addressing a concern. That is addressing a concern that people are not having.
Maybe she should have consulted with us and we would have told her, but yes. I think you can give her the benefit of the doubt. She didn't know. She doesn't know what freaking Sunni Shia divide is.
You don't need to know the Sunni Shia divide. You only need to say that nobody, like most people, are not accusing each other of being anti-Muslim bigots for standing up against the regime. That's all you need to see.
She would not have seen
celebrities. No. You know what celebrities are good at? Noticing trends on social media. That's what all she had to do. That's all she had to do.
I reckon I reckon it's probably because of because Iranian regime is a Shia regime. If a similar movement like this was taking place in Pakistan, let's just say that, they would not have spoken. They would not. So you reckon? So
many Sunni Muslims constantly remind us that the regime in Saudi Arabia does not represent Islam. They constantly remind us that it's actually right now there's no regime. There's no regime.
But when push comes to shove, then they're like, oh, see, this is an attack on Islam. Yeah, all these Islamophobes are just supporting this overthrow of the.
No. If you attack Muslims, yes, but if you attack regimes, they're like, that has nothing to do with Islam. Constantly tell us that. Which regime do people come out globally, Muslims globally, like, oh yeah, this is a good representative of an Islamic government? Do you have one? No. Even Sunnis don't have a Sunni Islamic government. Like, yep, this is like what exactly how Muhammad would have intended. They constantly remind us that
this is what. Okay. So yeah, I don't have an example. You're probably right, but hang on, but she would not know that. She doesn't know that.
She only had to notice that people, even Muslims, are supporting Iranian people right now. Muslims are coming out and saying like, oh yeah, I have a hijab and I support the Iranian woman. I have the right to choose to wear the hijab and I support the right for Iranian women to not wear the hijab.
Okay, so as a celebrity, so you're telling me, so as a celebrity, I'm looking at it. I'm like, okay, 90% of the people, majority of people, I haven't seen any tweet that is anti this movement. So I'm going to just say this. But then she proofreads it, then she rethinks about it. She's like, maybe I should add this line because what if there's like 1,000 people who say, you bitch, you're Islamophobic, you're against our faith, blah, blah, blah. She just added it as an insurance policy. That's what I'm saying.
But she didn't know. She spoke on behalf of Iranian people. She said Iranian people are not protesting against. And the fact that she didn't know, like, she doesn't know. Well, then you shouldn't make a claim if you don't know. You don't know. You can't speak on behalf of Iranian people. Like, they're not protesting against this. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Well, that's, I know it's fair. It's fair for her to say this, and it's fair for us to come up and like, you shouldn't have said.
Okay, so you reckon when George W. Bush said Islam is a wonderful religion, it's a religion of peace, you reckon he knew anything about Islam? He probably didn't. These people say that.
Then don't say. But then, okay, I'm not saying you should have known. I'm saying if you don't know, then don't make claims about things. I'm not criticizing her for not being aware. I'm criticizing her for making claims. I don't know many things. But guess what? If I don't know about something, I don't make claims about it. I say maybe I'm skeptical. I'm not sure. Yeah.
I mean, you're not getting into being safe. Maybe they're smarter than what we might think. She might actually know. Hang on, it is go anti-Islam people. Go my fellow Islamophobes, but I'm going to play safe. She could be like that.
Well, our job is to make it so that, like, if you are playing it safe because you get backlash from the other side, so we have to create our. When you say shit like this, we have to come out. So when people want to play safe, they have to put us into the calculation as well. So if you say that this is not against Islam and there's a backlash to that as well, next time you want to play it safe, you will calculate us in your calculation as well.
Yeah, I get it, but anyway, I think I've said my piece.
Okay.
Somebody, okay, I think we're done, are we? Okay, we've
Yes.
still got 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm
10
going to
minutes?
cover.
So
Yeah, can we finish at 2? Can we finish at 2 in 2 hours?
Okay. We don't going to bring members up?
What? Maybe you can have them because I'm really, really tired.
Okay.
I didn't get a nap today. So, but yeah, you can get some members.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, leave it running.
I'm gonna put it on the. I'm gonna wait. Let me tell people what I'm doing on the community tab for Secular Jihadists channel. I'm going to go and put a link for anybody who wants to come up. For you to be able to see that, you have to be a member of the channel. So it's going to only be visible to members of the channel. Okay, so you go on. What are you gonna say?
Okay, so I wanted to talk about what's been happening in Italy. So,
yeah,
I've been saying, well, not I think everyone's been saying, is just stating the obvious, really, that that people who have been in the center left, center right, center left and in the center, they've been saying, hey, you know what the radical left, as they like to call it, or the wokes, they've gone way too far, and some of these values that they're propagating, they just don't make any sense. So they say, you know what, I would pick, and the same thing we see in India as well. So people say, like, I'm a classical liberal, but now I'm finding myself, I don't want to go where this far left is taking me, so I'm going to go with the conservatives, and sometimes even further than that. So this is what's been happening. And look, the rise of Trump, you could say, in Germany, I forgot what's the party called in Germany. Sweden recently, a far-right party. They didn't come to power, but they got big numbers. But now, for the first time, a lot of people are saying this is a far-right party that's come to power. And this is quite remarkable. A lot of people, hang on, let me find that. A lot of these news outlets are actually saying that since Benito Mussolini, a far right wing party has come to power in Italy. I don't know whether that's a fair comparison. I don't think so, but still, let's just have a look at this particular one. What they say. Hang on a second. What am I saying? Can't even talk. Let me see. Where is this? AD power. Okay, allow this. Okay. All right, so let's have a look at this. You ready? It's got some thumbnails. Can you see this?
No, I see your screen.
Can you see? Why can't you see this? Okay.
Let me email Friendly Muslim the link as well.
Okay. Why does it not?
Okay, Friendly Muslim, I emailed you the link.
Oxymorons here. You know what? Screw this. I can't even talk.
You want send it to me? I will share it for you.
No, I can't even talk. I can't even gather my thoughts. Like, I'm falling asleep.
Okay, good.
I think we can.
Let's talk about Italy. Yeah, let's talk about Italy. You're gonna talk. Oh, how about this? You're gonna talk about this with Nuria? How we could tell people.
I'll talk about it. Yeah, I'll talk about it in Sunday Scoop.
Okay, guys, make sure you check out the Sunday Scoop with Harris, Sultan, and Nuria, and he's going to be covering what's happening in Italy over there. Right. Also check out Atheist Republic's news as well, because me and Susanna will be covering this as well. I'm not sure, because there's a lot of religious LGBT rights activists and also abortion issues related to the whole rise of the far right in Italy. Those are some major concerns right now, right? But what the hell is happening to Europe? Sweden has gone far right. Italy's going far right. France almost went far right.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen because people have been losing their shit on the left. You know, there's just this wokeism, cancel culture, all of that, and
we were like, oh no, we need Europe to take a bigger role because the United States is going far right with Trump and everything. And now Europe is like, hold my beer. Like, I can go even more far right than Trump. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, no, but for how long we've been saying that it's going to happen?
Yeah.
We've been saying that. Everyone's been saying it for so long. Like this, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Now, you made your bed. Now you're lying it. So,
well, I don't want them to lie. They're gonna, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna make life so difficult for Muslims. They're gonna force us to come out and be like, oh my God, we're gonna be our channel, our atheist anti-Islamic channels is going to be dedicated to defending Muslims. And these Hindus find the live chat. They're like, we knew.
No, but this is one thing that I've also been telling these radical Hindus as well.
Yeah.
Far right-wing white supremacists, they use Muslims as a scapegoat because Muslims are probably they're the loudest and they're the they're the problem child. Yeah. Okay. So they use them as an example. Hey, look, see, to their own people. Hey, look how bad these Muslims are. They're radical. They're noisy. They do this. They blow up. Blah blah blah. Whatever. So they say that, and they use that as an example. And then Hindus are like, yeah, see, that's what we've been trying to tell you. But what they don't realize is that they say, look at these Muslims. And then they say, that's why there should be no non-white migration. Geert Wilders actually did this tweet about a month ago. And he said, you know what he said? He said, he used another example of some radical Muslim doing some crazy things. And he said, this is why I say we should only have European migration. I was like, where are the Hindus now? Because white supremacists, you might think that, hey, they're talking against Islam and Muslims. No, they don't like you either, man. To you're also not white enough for them. So you all your browns and black, for them, you're all in the same category. So far right can never be your friend. But our silly, our gullible Hindus, they think that, obviously not all, hashtag not all Hindus, but gullible Hindus think that, anyone who speaks against Muslims or Islam is my friend. Nah, they're not your friends.
By the way, before you go, I know you need to go get your rest. Norse mythology is also saying go get your rest. Sleep is very important. But you did get a super chat you didn't respond to. This was on your channel by Xi Jinping.
I did end up talking about it. Your view on new Italy Prime Minister linked to neo-fascist groups. I don't know. Look, I mean, I don't know much about it. I'm only reading the news. I'm watching these news stories, so I don't really know much myself. I'm only going by what they're saying.
No, the guy. She supported Mussolini. Did you know that?
Did she?
She praised. Yeah, we have her on video praising Mussolini.
There you go.
Also, she's
kind
of cute, by the way. I don't know. If you're gonna go fascist, you might as well make it, kind of cute. Is that sexist to say? I don't care. I don't know. Well, I do care. That's not sexist.
You might, yeah. She might like you too, because you look a bit Italian, so it's okay. I'll be too brown.
I could tolerate fascism a little bit if it's cute. I mean, I don't tolerate it, but it's like, at least make it. You know what? I should shut up. Susanna's gonna kill me. No, I take all that back. I'm just acknowledging what I see. Anyways, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna stop.
I'm gonna go.
I'm gonna stop.
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
All right, guys. I'm gonna go. I'll see you guys on Sunday Scoop and with Nuria Khan, and we'll talk about it a little bit more. And obviously, there'll be more updates to discuss on the Iranian front. So until then, ta-da, bye-bye from me.
Bye. Mwah. Oh, he's still here. Okay, I'll put him down. All right, let me bring Oxymoron and Friendly Muslim.
Hello.
Okay. Hello.
Hello. I hope Harris feels better. Get some rest.
Yeah, no, Harris needs to go sleep because he needs to rest. But yeah, it's I'm really grateful that he came anyways, because he was really, really tired, but he still came, so I'm grateful for that.
Oh, okay. Oh, shout out to Harry.
Also, like, I'm glad that even though he was tired, the news was interesting enough for him to. He seemed like he was like tired, but then when the topic would come out, he would get like very passionate about it. So I was like, so the news was like interesting enough to get him awake.
Yeah, no, but it's all
That was good.
kicking off, and what I wanted to, because I've been talking about it, and it's been interesting because people have been asking me about it, or the conversations has been happening, and I've been able to say, well, no, listen, this is the breakdown of the country, you know, and I was more knowledgeable.
Wait. Give us context. What you're talking about. Like,
So
start from the beginning.
sorry. Okay, my bad. Okay, so generally, like within Muslims are having a discussion about what's going on, and so I've been part of discussions where I have been able to explain that look, there is a breakdown of the country, and there are other issues.
Okay, you're not explaining it. You're talking about Iran. Did you even mention Iran once?
Yeah. Sorry, Iran.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. It's been the most.
No, you didn't. Like,
topic
people
of
have no idea what you're
conversation.
talking about.
Okay, Iran.
Yeah.
This is the most important thing that's going on in the news this week.
Right. So you're talking about Iran, and you're saying
yes.
that people have come out. You, as a Muslim, people talk to you about it, right? About what's happening.
Yeah,
in Iran.
within Muslim, you know, dawah groups, etc. You know, I've been talking about it, and they have asked the topic of Iran and what's going on has come up, and obviously I've had more knowledge based on our discussions from the past, where I've been able to contribute and say, you know, it's not just the hijab. The hijab represents the regime also, for certain people, and so I've been able to give a more rounded sort of perspective of what's happened based on our conversations. What I would like, remember we went through that, there's a pie graph, or you said that these were the different groups of people in Iran. I really wanted to touch that with you, basically, because I think it was important to show people what the different makeup of Iran is like. Remember there was that those statistics, yeah. So I would like to personally. That's what I wanted to.
You want me to bring it up now? I'm bringing it
yes,
up right now.
Yeah, if you could, that would be brilliant. Because I'm going to do a new segment on it, on Friend Zone News, where I sort of, you know, explain to people what's been happening also.
Here, let me share my screen. All right, so this is Iran's attitudes toward religion, a 2020 survey report. So the page that you're looking for is this one.
Okay.
Right. Again, some people don't like this study. Some people say it's good. Some people say it's not good. But this is the only survey that we have, the most recent survey that we have, that is not government ones, right? Because we can't trust what the regime says, right? So based on the latest scientific poll that we have had, Iranian people, only 32% of them are Shia Muslim. So it's still the biggest group, but it's less than 50%. If you add up all the Muslims, so 32% Shia Muslim, because Iran used to be a majority Shia Islam, Shia Muslim country. And within less than one generation, around half of Iranians have left not just Islam, but religion as a whole. So this is significant. Like, if this poll is accurate, okay, it means that within less than 40 years, half of Iranians, let's say 40 years, within 40 years, half of Iranians have left religion as a whole. This is the greatest mass exodus of religion in the history of mankind, if this is accurate, right? So if
would you say that's been mainly pushed by the regime, and their behavior that's pushed people into sort of no religion at all, or is this? Have you seen this anywhere else in the world?
No, nowhere else in the world have you ever seen this. Like, the best anti-Islam activists in the world are the Islamic Republic of Iran. Nothing has been a better force against Islam other than more than the Islamic Republic of Iran. It's absolutely insane. We're talking about 82 million people, right? Right. So it's crazy. So we have 32% Shia. Let's see, Sunni Muslim. Sunni Muslim is only 5%, right? So that would be 37. Then you have Sufis with 3%, right? So let's just say like 40 as a whole. Yeah. So 40% Muslim, which makes Iran a Muslim minority country. So this is a definition of taking a country hostage, because you have Sharia law enforced upon a Muslim minority country. That is insane.
How are minorities treated in Iran in terms of, like, you've got Christian minorities, obviously Sunni Muslim minorities, Zoroastrians, etc.
Okay, it depends on whether you're a minority because you're born into it or because you left Islam. Okay, if you're a minority because you left Islam, okay, if it's found out, then your punishment is death, right? But if you're born into it, it really depends on the minority. Okay, so I think the worst people, the minority that has it the worst, are the Baha'is or the Kurds. Okay, so it's either the Kurdish or the Baha'is. I don't know which one has it worse, right? So, but one is an ethnicity, another one is a religious group.
Okay, and what's the total population of Iran at the moment?
82, I think. Let me check. Iran population 83. 83.99. So 84 almost. I swear last time I checked this was 82. What the hell? Okay, 84.
84. Okay. And remember, there was that other breakdown of people that wanted that were pro-regime, people that wanted independence, people that wanted the Shah, and that monarchy back. Also, there was, I think it was a 20-20-20 split. I couldn't remember the exact figures.
You want me to bring that as well?
Yeah, please. Yeah, I think it's great because it helps to explain to people what the actual breakdown of Iran is and the different views that are within the country.
Okay, let's bring that as well.
Because interesting enough, and obviously once you go through this, we can discuss the other things that have been happening in London also, because I don't know if you had a chance to cover that, or you're aware of the things that were happening in London or the UK. But yeah, yeah, okay, great. Okay.
All right. So Iranian people, the political systems that they want, 33% of them, which is the biggest group, want a secular republic. Right? So it's very interesting because that means that even some Shia Muslims want a secular republic. Right? The second group, by 22%, is the people who want an Islamic republic. Right? So it doesn't say if the Islamic Republic that they want is the one that we have already or a different Islamic Republic. But I would say that, let's guess that it's the same Islamic Republic, right? So that would mean that 16 million people are potentially happy with the current regime that we have, right? But that would mean that everybody else is unhappy because none of these other options are an Islamic Republic. So only this is, maximum 22% of Iranians are happy with the regime that they have. Okay. Right. Then we have 19% want a constitutional monarchy, same as what we have in the UK, for example. 3% of them want an absolute monarchy, which these people are insane, I would say. Where do we have kind of like Thailand, maybe, right? Thailand or Saudi Arabia. These people want that way. I don't know if they could call those monarchy, but where else do we have an absolute monarchy right now in the world other than?
Yeah, I think Thailand would be the one that sticks
Thailand
to mind.
Would be kind of like Thailand, yeah. And then there's another 20% they didn't answer, or yeah.
Yeah, so in London, basically, there were protests under the it's a Islamic Center, or the Center for Islam, basically, in Maida Vale. So there were protests happening outside
Yes.
there. Also on
And
Hyde
they
Park.
raised the monarchist flag over it. Did you see?
Oh, okay,
Yes,
yeah. So I saw
So the Iranians, so that would be these people, right? So they attacked it, and the police was there, and there was a clash between Iranians and the police because they wanted to attack the center, right? They kind of see the Islamic Center in London as, I don't know, like a spy agency or a propaganda arm of the Iranian regime, right? So
yeah,
that's why they attacked it.
people were
But
saying.
they climbed it, and they were like these monarchists. And somebody went up there, and he was raising the monarchist flag, which is like the Iranian flag with a lion and holding a sword in the middle.
Has he been quite vocal at the moment with what's going on in terms of
who?
The person that wants to be a monarch? What was his name? The
son. Okay, the son of. Okay, so the son of the previous king, the son of the Shah, Reza Pahlavi, right?
Yep.
The son of Muhammad Reza Pahlavi. He is on our side. Okay, I'm not a monarchist. I would like a secular republic. I'm on the secular republic side, right? Okay, these constitutional monarchists, the person that they want to topple the government and bring a new shah, bring a new king, and they want their king to be Reza Pahlavi. Okay, but Reza Pahlavi is not on their side. Reza Pahlavi, he himself wants a republic. He himself has said the age of monarchies is over. He doesn't want that, but he also says that I myself see myself as a pro-republic person, but if the Iranian people choose a constitutional monarchy, then I would respect that. But he himself is not on their side. He himself is on our side.
So would it be a case that he brings in a monarchy, but then he leaves it to a government and forms a government to actually run a democratic secular government to run?
Oh no. Okay. First of all, as much as I'm against a constitutional monarchy, okay, I have to be fair. A constitutional monarchy is still a democracy.
Okay.
Only an absolute monarchy is not a democracy. A constitutional monarchy is still a democracy. I'm against it, but I'm against it. I'm not gonna attack it baselessly. I'm not gonna say like, oh, it's not democratic. It's absolutely. It is. It's UK is a democratic country. And UK is a constitutional monarchy.
Right. So what are your objections to a constitutional monarchy?
My main objection is that there is a very important unelected politician.
Okay, I'm with you.
That has significant power. First of all, if that politician has no power, then it's a waste and it's useless, right? And a distraction. Right? And if he has any power, then it's unelected.
Right.
Politicians need to be representing the people, so they need to be elected.
Yeah.
And it's based on inheritance, and it's for if it's lifetime. There's two main problems. No position should be based on inheritance. It should be based on merit, and no position should be lifelong. Because then you have no accountability. It should be you should be able to lose your position based on performance.
Yeah, no, you're right. So in London, there were protests against the regime, but we also saw protesters for the regime also. So is that happening? And I understand that was happening in Iran also, that there were pro-regime protests that happened rapidly also, that were organized and sort of went out. But I'd like you to be able to confirm that was the case or not.
Well, okay, so there was two attempts at this. So whenever there's pro-regime protests in Iran, the government comes and mobilizes them, right? So it's not organic. They're bringing buses, and they are told that it's, as government employees, they have to comply to this. Like if there's pro-government protests and you as a government employee, you don't attend when you're asked to, it could be, you will suffer. Like you will lose.
So they round up the people and say, look, get out there and tell people that you're pro.
But it was very embarrassing because they were they were zooming in. They had the people like pushed together, and they had the camera zoom in, but people were filming it from their balconies and stuff. And when you zoomed out, you could see that there wasn't that many people. It was so embarrassing. People were comparing the footage that they released by the government and then the zoomed out version of that. And if you look at the government version, it seemed like a sea of people have showed up. But then when you saw it from other angles, it seemed like, okay, this was just this one corner. So it was so bad. But that was the first attempt. No, that was the first attempt at the first day, but it was so embarrassing that the government made the second attempt at the protest. And this was the first time that we saw that was the double attempt. And they brought more people the second time. But it was really embarrassing because the chant of the protest, like, look at the arm, the chant was like, ببین چه لشکر اومده برای رهبر آمده, which translates to look at the army that has showed up in support of the supreme leader, right? Like, you look at the multitudes of people, and then you look at the crowd, and there was like a handful of people there. So the contrast between the chant and the people was really embarrassing, right? And people were anti-regime people were sharing that everywhere. And then they made the fact that they made a second attempt at protest kind of confirmed that they were embarrassed by the first footage that came out.
Wow. Okay. And so is this footage online? Because also there's also conversations about whether they're being allowed access to internet, and what happened there. Are you able to sort of let us know what happened in terms of
the information? The internet was being cut in and out from the place. At first, it was at the places where the protests were happening, so they can mobilize and stuff, but people would record it. They go to a place where internet was there, and they will send it from there, right? But then they cut internet even more when the protest like picked up. They cut internet like completely, which makes getting information a lot more from Iran a lot more difficult, but not impossible, because few people have. There are ways to, like, for example, people have SIM cards from Turkey and from Pakistan, right? So using data, like when they cut the internet there, they could still connect to the networks from Pakistan and Turkey, some people, but those are few and far in between. So the data that comes out becomes much less significant, but we still get drops of information coming out when they cut the internet.
Okay. So would you say that then the importance of people protesting around the world and making it known what's going on is extremely important, because they'll be able to voice what's going on in the country where their voices aren't being heard, and if the media aren't covering it, the importance of people coming up and saying this is what's going on needs to be looked at.
Yeah, it's important to keep your attention on this. Like, we know that with more attention, Iranian people are safer, right? When the world is watching, less people die because the government feels the pressure. We have seen this time and time again. Killings increase when people ignore. Okay. So we need attention.
No, and so you hope that this is the flare up or the startup, or are you concerned it's going to be big news this week, and within a couple of weeks it may die down, or do you feel this time
it may die down? It's very likely. I don't know what will happen. Okay, but it's likely that it will die down. But the thing is that the number of protests are increasing, and the distance between them are shrinking, and red lines are constantly being crossed. Red lines that were unimaginable before. Right, every time we have a new protest, there are red lines that we didn't think people would be able to cross. Okay, so if this escalation of the nature of the protests continues, and if more people keep taking, especially people who used to be loyalists to the regime, switch sides, like this time we saw the unprecedented nature of this protest relative to the ones before it was the type of people internationally that were supporting the Iranian people, but also the type of people internally that were choosing the people's side, like celebrities that you would never imagine, Iranian celebrities that would speak against the regime, because their entire livelihood is on the line, are now taking people's side, right? People who used to be people who used to work for the regime are still working for the regime. Mullahs, with women with full chadors that are completely religious, more and more of them are going against the regime, right? So at some point, what you could potentially see is division within the regime itself, especially if some people in the regime see people who look and talk like them speaking against the regime, right? So for example, you want me, like, I can show you this video. Do you want me to show an example so you understand what I'm saying?
No, absolutely. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, oxymoron. Let me just show you a very, very revealing video. Religion. Okay. Okay, let me translate this for you. All right. So the caption says, when I watched the first few seconds of this video, I wanted to chew open this man's neck. Okay. So a lot of anti-regime Iranians, when you hear something even remotely religious, you think that, oh, these people are pro-regime. So this man is very religious, and he starts talking religious talk, right? So this is an Iranian who, just by starting to hear this man is speaking religious talk, he says, I started to get so angry that I want to chew his neck open. Okay. But, and then it's dot. So he's surprised. A lot of people in the comments, you could also see that they're surprised that such a religious person with such a religious fervor is saying the things that he's saying. And that's why, for example, this got 15,000 likes, because people are like, this is different. This is weird to them. They're not used to seeing this. So let's see what this man is saying. Okay. He's saying the people that I want to talk to right now are the Hayati kids. Hayati kids are like the people who come out and do this for Imam Hussein. They go to, like, they constantly go and, very religious type of young people. They call them Bache Hayati. Okay. Like, the people who, like me, have grown up in Imam Hussein's ideology, like under Imam Hussein's ideology, his school of thought. Like, I'm talking to the people who, like me, have cried tears of blood for Imam Hussein's loneliness at the time of death, for his innocence at the time of death, from him dying in a foreign land at the time of death. For all these things, we cried in bloods of tear. Wait, I'm not even playing the audio. You should have told me. Here, let me go from the beginning. Yeah. Because I know you can't hear Persian, but I want you to hear his passion. You have the audio, right?
Yep.
همونایی که من به غریب مردن، مظلوم مردن، تنها مردن امام حسین خون گریه کردیم. خودمونو میکشیم واسه اینکه امام حسین تنها مرد.
Like, we will kill ourselves for the fact because Imam Hussein died alone.
ولی امروز زنها مهسا مرد.
But today, today Mahsa died.
امروز غریب مهسا مرد.
Today Mahsa died in Gharib. I don't know how to say that in English.
امروز رقیه مهسا. اونا به رقیه.
Today Ruqayya is Mahsa. Ruqayya is like a woman who died in Karbala.
رحم کردم. ولی این بی‌شرفا به رقیه رحم نکرد.
He says that the people from the army of Yazid, the evil people from the army of Yazid, they showed mercy to Ruqayya, but these motherfuckers, they didn't show mercy to Mahsa.
امروز امام حسین پدر مهسا امینی.
He says today Imam Hussein is the father of Mahsa Amini. Like Hayati boys. Like today is like Karbala. If you don't come out today, if you don't come out today, you're Kufi. So Kufa was a city in today's Iraq, that the city that was pledged loyalty to Hussein in his fight, but when Hussein showed up for battle, they betrayed him and they didn't join him, and Hussein died without their support. So they betrayed Hussein. So Kufis are recognized by Shia Muslims as the people who betray, right? So he's saying, if you don't come out today in support of Mahsa Amini, you are a Kufi. You become the army of Muawiyah. Muawiyah was Yazid's father, the person who was on the other side of against Imam Ali, Hassan, and Hussein. You become the same people that we curse. You become the people who, because of what they did, we cry tears of blood. He says, if you don't come out today, in the afterlife, you wouldn't be able to look Imam Hussein in the eyes. So, yeah. So this is surprising to a lot of people. They see this, and this went viral because they're like, this is like, we are not, like a lot of secularists or anti-Islam people are not used to seeing religious people being so passionately anti-regime or supporting Mahsa. Supporting the women who are taking off and burning their hijab. This kind of stuff is new. That's why we're saying it's unprecedented.
Yeah, no, it's something that definitely is being spoken about, and I think voices will prevail. If you get a chance after the stream, if you could email me those 2 PDFs, I would really appreciate it, because I really want to allow people to access this information also, so they have a better understanding the makeup of Iran and the different viewpoints, because it's new to a lot of people. Iran may have not been on people's radars or perspective until now, but there are definitely protests happening in London. I think they'll be happening in on the weekend again. And I think are they going on around the world, protests in front of the Iranian embassies and things of that nature? Do you have any news on that at all?
Yeah. There was major protests by Iranians outside of Iran, like in Toronto, in Vancouver, in Berlin, in UK, in France, in London, more than before. Like, again, this was another. The number of people that showed up were outside of Iran were bigger than ever before. People who used to not be political, people who used to stay out of it, people were like, okay, yeah, it's bad what's happening in Iran, but like they just went. This time they're coming out, so it's very. You can see like things are changing, and also Troel is making an interesting point, because like he's saying, remember that video from a year or so ago of the Chadori woman dancing in the street saying Zende Bad Pahlavi? Yeah, 1 year ago, I would share these videos with you, and I would tell you guys, like, there are some things that are changing. There seems to be a shift, not just among the secularists in Iran, but even among the religious people in Iran, right? And so people who follow me and follow Secular Jihadists, you're exactly, Troll, you have been introduced to these signals of a shift that seem to have been happening. And what Mahsa Amini's death has done is to show that shift that we were slowly observing, we weren't imagining things. It was real, because now they're surfacing. Now they're showing themselves. So much like this. I just showed you one example. There's a lot more of this. There's a lot more of this that I could show you that shows that we weren't lying. We weren't like imagining things that were not there. This shift was big. And the thing is that this protest dying out, even if it dies out, which it might, okay, it's likely, has shown us that unlike the Islamic Republic is built now on a house of cards, because without its base, there's nothing left. The base of the Islamic Republic is the support of very religious people. So what leg does it have to stand on going forward if it loses even that, or if it loses even half of that? You don't need the entire leg. You just need, because they will turn on each other. Because if you get religious people, very, very, very religious people, to join the side of the people, these are people with more access to power. They have, because of the nature of being religious, doors you have been open to them before. They have access to things that other Iranians don't have access to. So they already have one foot in. So they could take the thing down from within, in places where other secularist people in Iran didn't have the power or access to be able to do. So the best way to take down the regime is to turn it in on itself. And that's what Mahsa Amini is seemed to have done. Eventually, this might have a result.
Do you think there are any parties or any other So how do you think people would want to start from scratch, basically? Do you think, let's say on another paradigm, two questions. Would you want to enter into a conversation who is pro-regime, and have a conversation with someone that is actually pro-regime? Also, how do you feel a toppling? What do you think a toppling of a regime looks like? I don't think they're going to give up power essentially and say, well, the people aren't happy with us. Do you think it would happen in a form of a political, or what's the word? You know, when they have a big vote
Settlement?
on something.
Referendum.
Yeah, referendum, that's the word.
They want to do a referendum. Yeah, that's what they're gonna. What people say. Okay, first of all, I don't know if any of this is gonna happen. Okay, so what the anti-regime people say that the first order of business after the regime falls. Okay, again, I'm not saying whether this is possible or not, but the claim is that they want to have a referendum on the type of government, right? That what? So the thing. I think they're going to have a list of, do you want a secular republic, Islamic republic, a constitutional monarchy? Like, you're going to choose one of these, right? And then we move forward from there. At first, we have to choose the type of government. And the monarchists will say, the constitutional monarchists in Iran will say, they're claiming that they think their side would win, but they are willing to give up their demand for the constitutional monarchy if the referendum shows that most people in Iran want a secular republic, right? But they say they're quite confident that they will win. They want the constitutional. They want the people who are on the side of a secular republic to also confirm now that we would want a referendum, okay, and we will respect the results of that referendum. And if the constitutional monarchist side wins, we will submit to the constitutional monarchy, right? The problem for some of us secular republics are that we think some things shouldn't be up for a vote, right? Like, we can't have slavery up for a vote, right? Like, so having an undemocratic institute should not be up for a vote. Like, these are just anti-human rights and stuff, right? However, even though that is my view that shouldn't be up for a vote, you should just not have that. If that's what is required for us to submit to get us united against the Islamic Republic of Iran, against my will, I will submit to that. Oxymoron, you want to say something? It's about this topic.
Okay, so I wanted to ask if we observe the histories of a lot of Western nations that have been successful in transitioning from monarchies to religious theocracies to modern secular nations. So it has been very gradual. Even the French Revolution, after French Revolution, there was Napoleon and the stuff that happened. So the transition was very step by step. So don't you think the infusing these ideas directly could probably mean end of Iran? There would be a lot of factions and it could lead to instability. Even United States, 50, 60 years ago, it wasn't as liberal as it is today.
Okay, so the thing is that Iran has such a major identity that it's hard for it to, instability. I could see that. I could even see instability for like a decade or so, right? But end of Iran, I don't see that. There's such a major clinging on this identity of being Iranian that it's hard to get rid of that. Like, it will eventually will come back together. Like, think about it. The Iran identity, okay, had survived the Alexander's invasion, right? The Arab invasion, so the Mongol invasion. So many countries invaded Iran and tried to swallow it whole and make it part of this whole new empire. And then at the end of it, you still had Iran back again, right? So think about, like, this is what, again, a lot of nationalists say. So I don't want to be uber nationalist here, but I'm just saying, because I'm not even saying this is as a good thing. There's just so much pride and nationalism and, you know, tribal identity. These are not things that I celebrate, but I have to accept that it's there, right? So, like, among all the countries that in the Middle East that the Muslims invaded, only 2 of them, I don't know, Turkey is not even in the Middle East, but only Iran did not become Arabized. Like, they kept their language because they have such pride. I mean, Turkey, let's give Turkey as well, right? But like Lebanon, Egypt, Syria, Iraq, they all lost their languages and became
I think
Arab.
there's argument that can be made that it could become like Afghanistan eventually, slowly by slowly. It could turn into Afghanistan.
No, I agree that it could be. We will have instability. We will have civil war. We will have civil war. Okay, but I'm just saying that Iranian people, from all sides, even the pro-regime and anti-regime side, they are not willing to give up on the idea of Iran and the concept of Iran. So one way or another, they will keep this thing Iran. We wouldn't have, like, this thing will not fall apart. I mean, even if it does fall apart, it will come back together at some point.
Yeah, so I'm trying to make that point that Iran could fall in sense that there will be a lot of factions in between Iran for very long period of time, which could hamper growth. So it could become like Afghanistan. I'm not claiming about the identity, but you are trying to make the argument of the civilizational state kind of thing. So Afghans, basically, even the Taliban and the non-Taliban factions, they are very clear with their identity, and they sort of retain their culture.
No, but they have different identities. Okay, so in Iran, we have many different identities, right? But there's one identity that they all agree on, which is the Iranian identity. We have few people.
Same can be said about Afghanistan as well.
No. For example, in Afghanistan, we have, like, ISIS doesn't believe in the concept of being Afghan, right?
No, like the ISIS-K actually, it's making argument for the civilizational state, the Khorasan, which is non-Islamic empire.
They want an Islamic empire. But let me actually say the main difference is that Iran is geopolitically and globally economically is more significant than Afghanistan could ever be, right? Both because of its oil resources, because of its access to the Persian Gulf, because of its access to the Caspian Sea, right? Because of its bordering countries like Turkey and Iraq, and so it's just like geopolitically, it's strategically, and the number of people it has, right? And the talents that it has, right? So education-wise, Iran has moved past Afghanistan by a great margin, right? So when it comes to the people power, okay, when it comes to natural resources power, when it comes to geopolitical power, Iran is at a different level. And there's certain soft powers that you can't just take away, like the experience that it has, the infrastructure that it has, the institution that it has. Even if we topple the regime, these institutions will stay in place, right? So that is something that people are not, those resources, it is within the interest of too many people for it all to disappear, like both internally and externally, and both internationally and nationally. There's too much at stake for all of that to disappear.
Yeah, so what if a lot of international powers come into play from different sides and factions, if that happens?
Well, I mean, that could be a bad and a good or a good thing, right? So you could have international influence coming in and trying to maintain some peace, and I would welcome that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
after
if there would be a lot of friction if it's coming from
yes,
the liberal
yes,
order,
it's
but
going to
it's
be
fine. But
there's going to be painful. It's going to be painful. I agree with you that it's going to be painful. Okay, I agree with you that it could be unstable for a while. Okay, I'm just saying that I don't think the instability and the chaos will break it to that point that you're saying.
yeah, so also friendly
But
Muslim, you
everything
wanted.
is possible. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so friendly Muslim wanted to talk about this the temple last time around. Do you want to talk about it still?
Oh, what the temple? What the update on what happened in India?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, yeah, if you want to give a bit of a background to it, basically. So, just for anyone.
So what happened is there were multiple temples that were destroyed during Mughal rule. So there was some very important temple, like they are akin to Mecca and Medina for Hindus. Like there's a Ram temple, which on which Babri was built. Then there's Kashi temple, which is actually the Kashi is the holiest city for Hindus, and it is the main deity of that part is Kashi Vishwanath, which is Shiv temple, and there's Krishna temple. So Hindus wanted to reclaim the three temples from the rule, which were turned into mosques to humiliate Hindus. So they wanted three temples back. So the Muslim side was offered that they will build largest mosque possible for them. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, no. So there was an ongoing. So they're just to fill in the gaps, basically. The one we were talking about was the Guamwapi Mosque, which is basically right next to a temple also. And so what they feel is that where there is a fountain, that used to be a shiv we talked about last week, and there was an ongoing court case about whether it should be changed back, whether it should have people should have access to it, because it is in a mosque now. It is in a washing area, a wudu area, basically. So do they need to have it? Do they not? But there was an ongoing court case going on in regards to it. So that's what I brought to Harris's attention. But I think that case, which was actually being heard, was about whether people could actually pray or go visit.
We covered this with. So did you saw the Atheist Republic news? We covered this with Susanna. Susanna has more information about this than I do.
Oh, okay, all right, fine, no problem. On Atheist Republic, do you go on a Sunday at the same time?
What?
Well, not the same time, but on Sundays, you go.
Yeah,
live also,
we go live at the same time that Harris does, but which is not ideal. But it's the only time that works for Susanna. Like it's not ideal at all. It's really bad that we have
to have both tabs open. And between the two and the other one, so I do have a little bit of
as soon as Susanna there has a time that works better for her, we'll switch. But Susanna, making sure that it works for Susanna takes priority over anything else. Yeah,
right.
But
no,
but you should watch that segment. It was funny as hell. It was the fun. It was the fun. I mean, I think it was funny. I think I was annoying some people, but I got very sexy. I know that's your favorite topic.
No, secular jihadists. It's not my favorite topic at all. Secular jihadists.
The topic over like mosques and temples, Islam and Hinduism. I managed to make it a very sexy, genuinely about penises and coming and washing, taking the wudu and Shiva's cum and all of that. So you should watch that. It's pretty good.
My. And Susanna was agreeing. Well, she was party to that conversation. It's like she was.
I think she was a mix of amused and frustrated at the same time, which is usually what happens when I go. But yeah,
okay.
I have to go, but let's have that discussion. Go watch that segment because we already covered this. And this topic with Susanna, I don't know if I could do that because she knows all the details and I don't. Yeah.
It's fine. No, thank you for your time.
But you should join in the live stream and comment. Oh, Oxymoron is here. Oxy, I'm gonna have to leave because I just got an email about something that I need to do with regards to Iranian protests and stuff. But did you want to say something else before we go?
No. Actually, can we both discuss and then we leave?
Oh, you two want to discuss it? Okay, sure. You two discuss it. You go ahead.
Okay, that will be true.
Well, go ahead then.
Hi, friendly Muslim. So I left in between, so I'm sorry I didn't listen to a lot of talks you two were having in between.
Yeah, so I was just quickly telling people that it was a case that there was a court case and that there was a hearing recently, and so I think that's an ongoing situation that's being appealed.
What are your thoughts on it?
I think at the beginning I was like, okay, well, maybe if there was access. Then sort of when I saw what the further plans are, they want to start digging under walls now. They want to start digging here.
No. Hindu side is saying that the mosque will be demolished. They just don't want access. They want the mosque demolished and the temple replaced. So do you think it's a good idea?
I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's things have.
But do you think it would be it's justified for Muslims to have their place of worship, which is on the holiest of Hindu grounds?
I think historically it's been there, and so I think that's.
So would you condemn the Hindus who want their holy site back?
I don't think. I mean, my opinion is that I think for that particular situation, I don't feel that there's any reason for it. I don't think there's. It leads. It's sort of you're going back thousands of years.
No. This is like Aurangzeb, so this is like 400 years.
Okay, well, 400 years ago, it happened.
So do you condemn Prophet Muhammad for doing something similar at Mecca? Because the logic was same. So RSS is sort of inspired by Islam too. So do you condemn Prophet Muhammad for breaking down the pagan temple and building a mosque?
What pagan temple?
So the mosque in the Mecca, it had idols inside it. It wasn't
the Kaaba.
Exactly
He's talking about the Kaaba.
The Kaaba. So it had idols in it, and then from what I understand,
it was a pagan temple. He was a pagan temple. He came and turned it into a mosque.
The majority of the people there were then Muslims, and what had taken place. So
no. I think the campaign when the campaign happened, most people weren't Muslims. So. And the logic doesn't fit in because even today, the most people are Hindus. And it's actually very generous amount because it's not, the mosque doesn't have any real importance for Muslims. It has for Hindus. So don't you think that's a problem?
It survived 400 years, it being the way it was.
Okay. This isn't the first time it was destroyed. It has been destroyed like 10 or 12 times. Hindus have always attempted to reclaim it.
Okay,
this is not the first time.
Okay, so how many times has it been destroyed? And they've
I think 10 or 11 times at least.
How many years?
I think since second or third Islamic invasion of India.
Okay, so I think you've it's gone on. Would you keep on trying to reclaim history backwards and forwards? I don't think it's
okay. Friendly Muslim, Friendly Muslim, you're not understanding what he's saying. Say if you are being consistent, you're like, okay, fine. If it has already been a certain way, because we don't have to change it, because we don't have to bring history and change it, okay? And he's saying, let's agree with the standard that you're having. And he's saying, can we apply that standard right now to what Muhammad did. Because if you agree that that's not a good standard, this 400 years ago, this was something else, so we should change it, right? So Muhammad also came in and said, like, you guys try to understand this Kaaba thing. Abraham had built it for Allah, not for your pagan stuff. Okay, you guys are doing pagan worship in Kaaba, but this was meant for Allah. So if we apply your standards, Muhammad should have been like, well, that was a long time ago. So now it's a pagan temple. So let it be a pagan temple if we apply your standard. That's what, right, Oxymoron? Is that what you're saying?
So I was asking if he would condemn Prophet Muhammad for doing similar something.
Well, so as I understand it, very good attempt. I saw this attempt on Indian channels trying to catch Muslims out with this framing
trying
of
to
the
catch a
question.
Muslim.
No. This is my logic.
It's like if we can get a Muslim to condemn the Prophet, then look, we've got you.
Hold on. That's such a
exactly
bad
what
response.
it is.
Friendly
No,
Muslim.
it's
Hold on,
not.
Oxymoron, wait.
Hold
It's
on,
such a
one
bad
second.
response.
But I've
It's such
seen
a
it
bad
happen.
response.
But then why is he duplicating? Why to do an interview on
Because
me?
it's a fair
Because it
question.
is
Hold on,
very-
Oxymoron. Give me a second. It's a fair question. If somebody is noticing, like, this is when people say when they don't have a good response, okay? If I notice a double standard, okay, and I bring up that double standard, your response should be like, why, to show why it's not a double standard. But instead of, because people are asking if your standards are consistent, but your response is like, oh, you just want me to say, like, to catch a Muslim to condemn Muhammad. Well,
I get it.
yeah, I
because
mean,
it's
the point.
been
Well, that's
done.
the point is, like, what do you mean? Like, is that a response? So, for
No, but
example,
I
let's
haven't
say, for
finished my
example, hold on,
response.
friendly
Let me
Muslim,
finish.
what you?
Oh,
Okay,
Armin.
but that your first response is not a good one. If you come to me, let's
it
say, for
wasn't.
example, let's say if I condemn Muslims for doing violent things, right? And then Hindutva does violent things, right? And I don't condemn them, right? And you come to me and say, Armin, why are you condemning Muslims for doing violent things, but not Hindutva for violent things? And then I respond to you like, oh, all you want to do is to catch me. Oh, was this your gut you? You want to get me to condemn Hindutva? Is that what you're like? What kind of a response is that? It's a good question. Maybe Oxymoron is copying other people because the people who he's copying are asking good questions.
Okay,
But go on.
not a problem. I get it, and I don't appreciate your when you not mock me, but when you repeat what I say. I mean, bit of a British accent. You make me sound very soft and very meh when you repeat what I'm saying. But yeah, fine. Okay, I mean,
Well, I wasn't trying to do that.
I know. I just want you to put a bit more English accent when you're repeating what I'm saying.
You want me
But
to
that's
do?
fine.
You want me to use
like,
English
put
accent?
put more gusto in it. Like let's
I don't know how to do accents.
Okay,
I don't know.
fine.
How to, yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to answer that they were two different scenarios in my view, and I'll tell you why. So as far as I understand, that the consensus of the people at the time was it was okay to change it back for the actual purpose of not having idols. That's my understanding of it. I may have to research it further, but that's the answer I got from Yasser Qadhi.
To change it back for the sorry, say that again. To change it back for the purpose of not having idols.
Yeah, that was the consensus of the people were. It was fine that this was the majority there now, and that not having idols in the Kaaba.
It was the majority by force. It came with the army.
Yeah,
okay, but they were not.
And also, India is now majority Hindu too. So if you want to go with majority, if you want to appeal to, if you are trying to appeal to majority, then in India, people could say like, okay, sure, that now we're majority Hindu, and the majority would like this to be a temple. So if you want to appeal to majority.
Okay, but then they are operating under a secular government. So therefore, if it's there, then and it was protected also legally. That mosque is protected legally. Am I correct?
Yes.
No. So the legal argument is different. I'm just raising a moral argument. There could be a legal argument raised that there wasn't a temple. The mosque cannot exist on a temple because they cite some hadiths where it says that it's wrong to demolish a temple, and there cannot be a pagan structure inside a mosque, which there is. The walls of the mosque are very, very pagan in origin.
Okay, for any Muslim, you cannot appeal to the law right now because the argument that we're making is what law would be the moral law. So just because something is legal doesn't mean it's good. We're trying to figure out what is the most moral law to have, right?
Okay. So
and we're looking at the Prophet as a role model to see if Prophet Muhammad would be a good role model to see what would be the most moral outcome, what would be the most moral thing to do. Because if we use Prophet Muhammad as a moral guideline, it would make sense right now that we should turn this mosque into a temple by force.
You don't have to apply every aspect of that as the worst situation. I mean, so
why not?
I agree. So you could, if you could condemn one of them and not condemn the other one. However, you have to explain why. Okay, so I think if somebody is like, okay, I condemn this, but not the other because there are differences, then the audience, the person that is listening to that, would expect to be like, okay, sure, there must be differences, but then you have to explain the differences that makes one of them condemnable and not the other.
Okay, so there's another hadith that comes to mind where they said that the Prophet, peace be upon him, would have either changed the shape of the Kaaba if it had been his way, and or the door would have been lowered. But for it not being of the people's will and not to cause a problem within the people, I left it because of the general consensus of the people was that it was to be left alone. So I would have to research it more to advocate
consensus.
the point. Yeah,
you want to okay, if you want to appeal to consensus, then that also should be a temple. Most Indians are Hindus, and if you appeal to consensus, they would want that thing to be a temple then.
Okay, I mean, if that's the way, if that's their point on it, then that's a fair.
So you think the majority, if in India the majority force their way upon Muslims, so majority rules, like, so if in India people want to just turn every single mosque into a temple just because it's a majority consensus, you would appeal to them, you would be like, okay, sure, let's get rid of every single mosque in India?
I mean, I don't think it would be I don't think everybody wants that in India. If it does happen, then
we can confirm with this temple, we are getting you on the side of Hindutva then, because you're saying that if the majority of Hindus in India want this to be a temple, you're agreeing with their side.
No, I'm not. See, this is the issue I have, where you try to put two different times, two different frameworks.
Yes, we agree that they're two different frameworks. If they are okay,
but can you explain the difference between the two frameworks?
If we agree that because they're different, we agree. We made this clear. We agreed that because they're different, okay, maybe it's not fair to say you have to be consistent, okay? But if you are right, then we expect to know what the difference is that makes it different, that you can pass different judgments on them.
Okay, so
we agree. You're right. These are two different scenarios. Maybe they require two different solutions. You're right. Yeah, but we don't. Me and Oxymoron are not seeing the difference that would require two different judgments. If you're seeing it, let us know what that is.
Okay, so one was a legal agreement that the mosque would not be changed. I don't know if there was a legal agreement in place at the time.
Okay, when you say what you're saying doesn't make sense. Legal, okay, at that time we had social agreements, okay? So a law is a societal agreement, okay? So the equivalent of that at that time would not, because we didn't have courts and judges and stuff, the equivalent of that during the time of Muhammad would be a social agreement. And yes, we did have a social agreement equal to what we would consider a law right now, that this Kaaba is a place for worship for any god, including Allah. the Qurayshis were tolerant to accept the worship of Allah at Kaaba. The only thing is that they wanted to worship other gods there as well. They were very tolerant. They were like, everybody could worship whatever the god they wanted over there. Muhammad was saying that they would, no, only Allah could be judged over here. They included Allah in the gods that you were allowed to worship. Qurayshis would allow it. So the contract, this was a contract that society had over there. So Muhammad was doing something that was illegal. The law at that time over there was like, everybody comes. This is a place where all traders come. We sell goods. We buy and sell things. And everybody comes and worships their god of choice. Muhammad went against that law, that he violated that law by force, removing all other gods and saying that by force, only Allah can be worshipped here.
But he didn't just go in straight. There was a breakdown of the treaty, right? So it wasn't like the first time he just went in and that was it. Like they weren't allowed to go
breakdown of the
there.
treaty. Yeah. The treaty was signed by force as well. So the treaty was signed because Muhammad was getting more and more powerful with his army, right?
But they didn't allow them to go for their Hajj and twice, right? That was the
But you don't. To fix that wrong, okay, you can't do wrong to other people. Let's say, for example, the Qurayshis had no right to refuse people to go do Hajj. Okay, that's wrong. Okay, but then that doesn't make what Muhammad did justified, because now Muhammad is forcing other people who had nothing to do with the betrayal of this treaty, who had gods there that they wanted to worship. Like there's like little old lady that had a favorite god in Kaaba that wanted to go worship, right? She had nothing to do with the violation of this treaty that some other dudes had with Muhammad. And now she's being forced to worship Allah, nothing but Allah at the Kaaba, even though she had like, what the hell, what the treaty? What treaty? I didn't do a treaty. Why can't I worship my own God? The favorite idol that I used to worship is now broken. Thank you very much.
Also, since 1992, Hindus aren't allowed to worship inside the Kaaba. The temple. So there's again, we can draw a similarity.
What right does Muhammad have? What right does Muhammad have to tell that little old lady to not worship a certain goddess? Okay, she had a really, had a favorite goddess that she worshipped. And Muhammad has now forcing her to worship Allah only at Kaaba. Okay? Over some treaty that she had nothing to do with.
But wasn't it a treaty based on the tribes and all the people that were there? So therefore, her being part of that society, they had an agreement in place.
That's such a collectivist mindset. That's guilt by association. Just because she belongs to a tribe that some other men, that she has no political power. She has no decision-making power. She just belongs to this tribe. But she has no right to worship her God now because some other old men had some agreement, and some other men. By the way, the violation of the treaty was just a few members of one allied tribe, not the entirety of the people that signed the treaty. Now all of a sudden she has been forced to not be able, not have the choice to her religion. So Muhammad comes and says, like, to you my religion, to each one to their own religion. Everyone is free to choose their religion. But now he's forcing us to worship Allah only at this Kaaba. Like ever since she was a little girl, she used to remember worshiping this God at this Kaaba thing with her mother. She has really good memories of it. And now the same guy that says to us our religion and to you your own, like everybody's free to their own religion. Same guy is marching up with an army to our city and is telling us that we can't worship anything but his God at this place that I grew up in. This is my home, my city, my family, my religion that is being taken away from me. Our idols are being broken in front of us because we've been defeated, because because might is right, apparently. They had the bigger army, so we just have to submit.
Right. So we are at the phase of okay, well, I mean, I take on board what you say. I want to double check certain things before you.
It's a good question, but do you agree? Like once you get past the idea, oh, you just want me to condemn Muhammad, you have to admit it's a good. Even if we are wrong, let's say for example you go look into this and you come up with a solid answer, and we're like, you defeat us. Okay, it is a good question. Can you admit that?
I feel in some ways it's defeatist, because we keep on going. Well, it belonged in this time. This was happening. Here we've got a completely different situation. So you should go back and you should get this action historically because this is where we are here. And I don't think they're exactly the same in all.
We know that they might not.
aspects.
We know that they might not. I mean, like, okay, I just spoke Persian for a second. You understand that moral consistency makes sense, right? You want to be morally consistent. Do you value moral consistency?
I want to study what moral consistency
Okay,
is
okay.
fully. Yeah, I think
Okay.
sometimes you use.
We
Just
acknowledge.
on
what we
YouTube, like in
We
terms of. Oh, hold on. Whoa. What's so feisty? Relax. All right. So
Friendly
look.
Muslims, that's not very nice of you. You act like people are not being nice to you, but you like
No,
you
I
come
know.
back.
Just
There's a
let's
delay in
let.
the audio. People are not interrupting you. There's a delay in the audio. When you come back and you're so snarky, you're not very
I'm not
friendly when you tell people
snarky.
like
I'm not
no, when you tell
snarky.
people like, oh, so feisty,
I know,
relax.
but I
That
like
is
having.
not friendly. That
Oh
is not
wow.
friendly.
You
Yeah.
tease me, I'm teasing you also while we're having a little conversation. I'd like to keep it light. I mean, we muck
That's
around,
not
right?
right. That's
Okay.
you know that gets to people sometimes. You know that, right?
Okay, no, I'm not. I thought we were good that I could call you a little bit feisty and we're keeping it
I
quite
am with you, but I don't know
humorous. Okay.
oxymoron. Like I can see like because you were responding to oxymoron like that. You know that could get on people's nerves. I mean, it's fine if you guys are friends and you get, but it just doesn't. It comes across as a little bit like not friendly. I just let you know. Yeah, but go on.
Okay, all right. Sorry, trying to figure out where the lines are. Oxy, are we cool that we can have a little bit of playful talk, or are we being very serious at the moment? Just
Just
confirm.
go on.
I don't
I'm
mind.
just-
I don't mind
Yeah.
anything. You can just give me good reasons.
Do you want me
So,
not to
unlike
tell
when the-
you? Do you want me not to tell you if what you're saying could come across as snarky? If you want me not to tell you,
No,
that,
you
I will
can.
not.
No, you
Yeah.
can do it. It's
Okay,
fine if you
okay.
feel that way. Then
I don't
I'm
feel.
not-
It's not about me. I'm just giving you some tips. If you want. If you don't want to, I will just stop.
No, you're fine. You can tell me. I'll take it on board.
Okay.
Right. Where were we, Oxy? Sorry, I lost my.
So I wanted to ask you this: given on whatever information that is available right now, so can you give a provisional reasoning that if Hindus should have a temple there, or was Prophet Muhammad wrong? Because the theme is exactly similar.
So
I don't
I
feel
think
that
Friendly
they
was.
are. But that's my personal opinion. I don't think they are similar in terms of the situation that's going on.
Can you explain the difference?
Yeah, I don't think for what's going on in terms of the people, the setup that's there in the country at the moment. I personally thought if they wanted to worship the outside wall, and it didn't disrupt anything, then I thought that was fine. That really wasn't an issue. I thought that was okay. Even if people wanted access, part of me was like, okay, well, is there a way they could arrange it? Could they facilitate it that something's moved back? I thought, okay, well, that might be a possibility. So I was also of the thought that, well, maybe they facilitate them accessing that particular area that they wanted to. But then it was like, okay, well, now we want to demolish it, and then we want to move them somewhere. And then I was like, well, are they going to do this for every place? It's legally
Friend, I agree with you with these things, but you're not explaining the difference between this and Muhammad did. You said they're different, but you're not explaining what.
I believe the consensus. My challenges are that there are different aspects in play, other than just majority rules. So if majority
we know, but what are the different? You keep saying different aspects, but you're not telling us what those are, what the differences
I
are.
believe I am. I don't know where I'm missing the point.
Okay, tell me again. What are the different? You say there are different aspects. What are those differences?
Because this is a real life situation of access.
Real life,
I suppose. So maybe I'm not firing on all cylinders.
Wait, Muhammad's story was not real life?
No, it was real life, but their scenario
and it wasn't about access?
They came in and they decided as a consensus, as per my understanding, maybe wrong, that
which one,
the
Muhammad
consensus was, for the Prophet, peace be upon him, that the consensus was that removing the idols, etc., out of that and changing the inside function was part of the consensus
Okay,
of the
friend Muslim,
people.
I'm not gonna bother you about this, but we addressed the things that you said. Okay, Muhammad's story was also real life according to Muslims. It was also about access, and if you want to appeal to consensus, then in India, if we appeal to consensus, then we have to take the Hindu side and not the Muslim side, right?
Well,
so we
if they
already
have a
addressed this. You're
vote,
repeating.
yeah,
You're saying.
Yep.
Oh, okay. So
if they
so
vote,
you then you
and that,
yeah. Okay. So
that
you're
happens,
saying. Okay. So you're agreeing that you will agree with changing the mosque to a temple. That would make you consistent. Okay. I just
if they had
maybe
a
you don't
vote,
want to. Yeah. Okay.
yeah, if they had a vote and the majority of the country agreed with it, then that may be a possibility that that happens. Personally, if
I'm
they
not
are,
gonna. Okay.
okay.
I don't want to like bother you too much because this is you're not very used to this, and I don't want you to like feel a lot of pressure. Okay, because if you were someone else that had experience with debates and stuff, I would like go and like, do you understand that like this is the consequences of what you're saying right now? But the fact that you tried to be consistent, I just want to celebrate that, and just Oxymoron, what do you think? Because that would make him consistent.
I think this is actually good. This is better
Good.
than that, but I expected his own personal opinion, not the process itself. What would he vote for when he was around?
What do you mean,
What do you
Muhammad?
mean?
No. If the friendly Muslim was in India, what would he vote for if there was voting done, and why?
Oh, that doesn't matter really, because if he's submitting to the majority rule, even if they disagree, if the vote was. But yeah, if you want to answer, I don't think that matters. My friend Muslim, if you were Indian Muslim, would you vote for it to become a temple, or would you vote for it to remain a mosque?
I would vote for it to stay a mosque for the general society of the people. I mean, I would vote for people working together to try to find solutions. That's my ethos on it. So, I mean,
I would vote for it to be both a mosque and a temple at the same time, just like how Kaaba used to be before Muhammad ruined it.
Okay, so tomorrow, if Arabs turn pagan, some Arabs, would it be possible to bring
No,
Google
like, hey,
back?
like Aksumar, you're exhausting friendly. Like, if we want to keep friendly Muslim friendly, so don't he's not used to, like, he's not like he's new at this. You don't want to exhaust his. The fact that he actually entertained this much, because he's a delicate flower. And I'm surprised. I'm surprised that he stood with us this long, because I thought he was like, listen, I thought in the middle of it, he's gonna be like, I don't appreciate being cornered like this. I don't know. I don't have experience with this. I'm just here to make connection with people. And you guys, I feel I'm being attacked here. I thought you're gonna do that, but you didn't. So you're great. You're getting better at this. I appreciate that.
I am a little bit grumpy. I've had a lack of sleep over the last couple of days, so I'm a little bit off the, so I'm not like, haven't had my tea, so like I'm like snappy and awake. So I was just covering the Iran thing, and that was important to me.
You're more British than Muslim, because you're gonna have my tea.
And yeah, I'm a bit croaky at the moment. So like, fine.
Grab your tea.
But yeah, I was, again, keeping it light also. When I was saying feisty, it was just playful talk. I wasn't in the middle of the whole debate. So if you felt any kind of way, Oxy, then, don't be. I do want to keep these things like serious and light at the same time. We are exploring thoughts. So I'm all good with that.
But go consider thinking about this, than what Muhammad did, because it's like, I don't think it was what he did was justified. The way he forced his religion upon the people, right? So when it comes to worship, breaking idols and stuff, it's very inconsistent with the Quranic verse that you're supposedly are allowed to choose your religion. Breaking, like, when I burn the Quran, right, I pay for the Quran, right? It's my property. I own it. I never go and take anyone else's Quran away from them and burn it, right? But when Muhammad broke idols, these were other people's idols. He broke other people's property. Okay. So there's
can
a
I make
major.
a point that I am happy to revisit certain topics. So like now we've covered this. Like I'll research more, and obviously we can go revisit it and go, okay, fine. Fine. I had that position, but I'm happy to research further and be like, okay, well, fine. I'm solid on my argument, why there's differences, and why I'm of this. I'm more than ready for battle now, but so I gave general answers. But next time,
can I?
If
good. Can I give you a tip? Right. It's a very respectable position in the middle of an argument, even a heated argument, to say, hey, actually, that's a very good point. I haven't thought about that. I'm going to go think about this and look into this, right? But I think when it comes to the topic of Islam, okay, acknowledging that the other person has a good question or is like bringing up a good inconsistency might be giving in too much, because then you're questioning Islam. Sometimes I feel like Muslims, if you're debating some other topic that they, have a position and you're disagreeing with them and you kind of challenge them and they don't have a solution, they are ready to say like, yeah, that's a good point. I haven't thought about that. But when it comes to Islam, they don't do that much, because that would be questioning Islam.
I'm happy to review a situation.
I know,
like
but
I had those 2 hadith, but
you had a way out in the middle of our discussion a couple of times that you could have taken. Your way out was like, hey, oxymoron, that's actually interesting. I don't know how to answer that. I'm going to think about it. That is a very respectable answer. It's not a defeat. If you tell that to your opponent, that is not seen as defeat. People see that as strength. To admit that you haven't thought about something in front of an audience is a show of strength. It's not a show of weakness.
But I would have said, what do you think about it right now? Yeah, it's fine. You can change your opinion, but I would like to hear your opinion. So.
Okay, I will give you another tip, my friend Muslim. I would say that I know you would like to hear my opinion, but I'm not comfortable giving an opinion until I have thought about it more.
Oh, okay, fine. But then I thought that would have been categorized as waffle. And look, he's waffling out of it. He doesn't want to answer. But
if people say waffling, be like, yeah, I am, because it's not because I don't have. I would rather give an answer when I have thought about something. So yeah, I am.
Okay, you heard it now in the chat, people. That's a non-waffle response. So if you want to, ponder it, that's fine. That's not me running. That's not me running like a track star. That's just pondering it and wanting to give a better definitive answer. So for next time, Armin's giving a couple of things.
If I hurt you, I'm really sorry. I didn't really.
No, I'm not that.
That's sweet, Oxymoron. You're getting better.
I didn't really want to offend Prophet Muhammad, but I was just contextualizing so you understand.
Screw Prophet Muhammad. Who cares about him? We're talking about friendly Muslim.
That was
don't. Okay, right? I thought you're gonna say I'm sorry if I hurt you, not offend Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad's dead.
But then that's okay. Good community life.
Okay, Armin. So there's a question for you too. So you weren't fine with the statue of Manu being held at some Supreme Court, near some Supreme Court, which now exists. You were also not fine with you were fine with changing character of temple for sake of social justice. So when the female gender wasn't allowed to enter inside a certain temple. So do you think that the principle of social justice applies to this temple too?
Social justice, like how so?
So because the mosque actually, the Muslims do there's something called sacred space and there's something called holy space. So the mosque itself isn't a sacred structure for most Muslims. The Kaaba is, the mosque in Mecca, the mosque in Medina, and I think Al-Aqsa, they are very, very important for Muslims. There's no historical.
So what's your question? What's your question?
So can principles of social justice be applied onto this
I don't know what
reparation?
principles of social justice even means, but can you just tell me what effectively that looks like so I know what you mean?
So can Hindus have their temple back? The right to
Hindus have
worship
their-
on the same sacred land back? Because
No.
it was taken away to humiliate Hindus.
Okay, I think whatever decision that is being made, it should be not based on historical what happened before, right? I think like
Why
at
not?
some point,
Because
previous agreements. I think
the-
previous agreements have a shelf life. Okay, they're after like if you have an agreement that has like 200 years old, you cannot be like bring it to courts anymore. Okay, like it doesn't make sense because if we wanted to have these standards, then all Americans should just leave United States and just give their lands to natives and stuff like that, right?
no,
So
in terms
yeah.
of symbolic, this is symbolic gesture. Can we have that? The
Okay, I think
holiest of the lands.
okay, I don't think anything should be forced upon. I think the most ideal but impossible outcome would for Muslims to be like, you know what? Let's just make this building a place of unity. How about we pray here to Allah, and you do whatever Hindus do in their temples, and we'll just show the world that we get along. And that would be like, we will make this place a symbol of union and coming together. Okay, that will never happen. I don't think, but that would be the most ideal thing that could happen. Which
So
is like,
Ambedkar wanted Dalits to be have access to the temples because they weren't for centuries allowed inside the temples. So it's illegal for a temple to bar certain caste. So can similar principles be applied to this particular land?
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, first of all, it's not a principle, it's based on consequences. I'm just saying the best outcome would be this, to be like, hey, let's just let Hindus in. Like, why not? Okay. And they would let us in and we would let them in. Like, fine.
But
yes,
the people wouldn't like mosque
yeah,
inside
so
temple.
I know. So we're talking about the most ideal scenario and the most realistic scenario. You're asking me for the most ideal scenario, which is impossible because people wouldn't like that. So are you asking me for what the government could force from above? I don't think the government should force anything from above. When it comes to what you have or what the government can do, the government should respect whatever contracts and agreements that is based on current laws and agreed upon based on the current legal structure, not something that was agreed upon 400 years ago. The government's job is just to maintain and uphold that. Unless the law is extremely unjust, and then you could change the law, right? But you can't just
so
change.
Hindus are arguing that the fact that we were worshipping there, so it's temple. So we have a right
Okay,
to
that's
temple.
nonsense. No, that's nonsense. 400 years is too long ago. 400
No,
years is too long ago.
No. They were worshipping there till 1992. Before the
1990.
Babri 1992.
Do we have do we have like legal contracts or anything that they could show that this was theirs and it's a temple?
Okay, they can provide certain kind of evidence that
okay, if they have it,
worshipping.
no, not it. Okay, it's not, they don't have to show that it's a temple. Okay, because even if it was a temple, okay, and somebody owns it, and the guy, let's say for example, I have a temple, okay, and I'm a Hindu, and then mashallah I become Muslim, okay, I'm like, okay, I'm Muslim now, I own this building, and now I want my temple to be a mosque. Okay, I legally own it. I could turn it into a mosque if I want to. Okay, so what they have to come with evidence for is not that this was a temple. Who gives a crap it was a temple? The people who own this building want it now to be a mosque. Okay, if they have documents that this is their building and somebody should give it back to them and legally own it, then they could take it back and turn it into whatever. They could turn it into a whorehouse if they wanted. Okay, they could turn it into whatever they want as long as they own it. If they don't own it, who owns the building? I don't know who owns the goddamn building. Is the government?
Actually, the mosque is legally owned by from legal point of view, which is contested. The structure is a mosque, but then the legacy of a mosque is considered. So how?
Okay, no, the building, the land and the building. Who owns it?
The Waqf board, basically government. The Waqf board, the Waqf. What WAQF, whatever it is. So which is Muslim body which owns it. Basically, there's no contract that government says that we have given it to them. It's just
Okay.
they claim to own it.
So don't we have a law in India that says that anything past a certain point remains whatever it was? Like if it's a mosque, it stays a mosque.
so.
It's a meant. Okay. What year
So
was
there's
it?
we made that law in 1992. So, but the law could be problematic. So the parliament building. So, for example, it has been there for like 100 years. So it doesn't have to be there for next 1,000 years because it could be changed from one place to other.
Let me tell you this. Okay. I don't what the solution is. Okay. I don't know because it seems like there's a lot of details here that I need to go through legal documents and I don't even have the legal expertise for that. Okay. However, whatever the solution is, bringing up what happened like a long time ago doesn't make any sense. Okay.
No, they won't be bringing up what happened a long time ago. They will just be claiming that this has been temple and the land is sacred.
So this seems like this seems to be appealing to what the current laws are the best thing to do. Okay, because what is the most moral thing to do, unfortunately, is not up to the government. It's up to the people who decide that, and the people are not going to decide the most moral thing to do. Okay, so the best alternative, next best thing is to just apply whatever the law is. Okay, and given that I don't know what the law will decide, everybody should just hire lawyers. That all sides should hire, instead of appealing to people's religious passion and stuff. Just get the lawyers to figure it out, and whatever the laws, whatever the legal system decides, you go with that. This is more of a legal battle than a moral battle.
Yeah,
because morally,
I think that's what I was trying to kind of get at because of the complexity of it. But I understand the general point. I will review your question
if you ask. No, but friendly Muslim, I could tell you what the most moral outcome is, even though I know legally the answer would be something different. Okay, I could tell you what the most moral outcome would be, even though if it's impossible. The most moral outcome would be for them to share it. I know I'm not naive enough to think that will happen, but I could still answer that. I could still tell you what the most ideal scenario would be.
Okay, so fine, fair enough.
So can we share 40,000 other temples to the other mosques too? Because
they're not a point of conflict right now.
So we can make them point of conflict.
Because they want, this is the start of the conflict. So
I'm not saying you're saying can we share other? I said that we can't even share this one. I'm not. You're like, can we do that? Did I say
for sake of morality? I'm saying.
Oh yeah, for the sake of morality, any building that is I think any building that is excluding a certain group of people because of the tribe that they belong to is immoral.
Like doctors are tribed too, so hospital is tribal zones.
You guys should. This is not a very foreign concept to you guys. That's what Dr. Ambektar thinks as well. So you guys should be familiar with this.
Anyway, I also wanted to share something. I don't have a link right now, but do you mind reading how the leftist historians have denied the existence of temple before in case of Ram temple?
You send this as maybe a patron question if you want, but I have to. I can't go. I can't leave you guys here because if I go, I need to end the stream. That's why.
That's fine. We need to end. It's been more than 3 hours. So
okay.
Anyway, if you get a chance, could you email me those 2 PDFs? That would be great.
Okay, can you email me for it so I could have it in my inbox?
Respond to it? Okay, great. All right, thank you so much, Navid.
Okay, cool.
Armin,
all right, guys.
Navid.
All right, thank you. All right. Guys, like the video, subscribe, leave a comment. Tell people, guys, both of you, Friendly Muslim, Extremist, tell people to leave a comment and like. Go on.
Leave a comment, subscribe to the channel.
And like, and subscribe to Friendly Muslim, Secular Jihadists, Harris Sultan, see us on Sunday Scoop, Atheist Republic, and also the Friend Zone News, where I'll be covering our conversation also.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
And stay away from communism. Bye.
Okay. Bye.